There we go.
Okay, let's start now. Duran Customz, interview number 19. We are saluting, we are honoring NWA founding member, aka Professor X, JJ Fat producer, DJ gamer, technologist, futurist, CEO of GOAT, and the Innovate Next movement and Open Lab. Also, one of the key elements, key ingredients in the foundation of West Coast hip hop. And like I said, original member of the world's most dangerous crew, Mr. Arabian Prince, a electro funk producer. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, fam. How about yourself?
Good, brother. Man, I gotta say, man, I was blown away when you shared everything that you've been up to, brother. I gotta say, you're an inspiration, man.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Gotta keep it moving.
To the future, brother, to the youngsters out there. You showed that you could have two passions in life and follow them and be successful at that height, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your passion for the music and technology, bro, it's just like unbelievable, bro. I'm shocked. And I wish a lot of people were as humble as you, brother, and inspired to show the future, man, and help out with the future generation, brother. You know what I'm saying? And when they say Professor X, brother, when you say Professor X, when I see you in that open lab teaching those kids, bro, that ain't no lie right there, brother. You know what I'm saying? You're inspiring. You're planting a seed for the future generation out there.
Yes, sir. Just trying to do my thing, man. Appreciate it.
What was it early on in life that propelled you toward music, brother? And your surroundings and your environment?
Yeah, that's what did, man. My surroundings and my environment, like growing up in the hood, growing up in the hood, man, I was the only child and my moms didn't want me out there doing dirt. And unfortunately and fortunately, my uncles was the ones doing most of the dirt. So they was in the street causing all the trouble and they didn't want me doing what they was doing. So my moms and my uncles were small, especially my uncles were like, man, we don't want to see you out here because we out here. And if we see you out here, we whooping your ass. And I was more scared of my uncles and my cousins than anybody else. So I just kind of listened to what they were saying, got into sports, and really got into, electronics and technology stuff, man, like in the late 70s, early 80s. Wow,
brother. Yeah, and that's the thing, man, living out here in Southern California, bro. Even if you don't have to be from anywhere, you're affiliated because you're growing up in the neighborhood, brother. That's all. And it's just we're around that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And you gotta think about it. Like
you gotta maneuver through it.
yeah, for sure.
Who are some of your favorites in music, whether it be funk, soul, jazz, or rock, brother?
Yeah, man. So, I tell everybody my uncle Wayne or Hoggy, he was everybody had that one person in the family that they idolized, right? Yes. So I was always with my one uncle and he had a crazy record collection. So he kind of opened my mind to music. That's why my music, if people hear my style, it's all over the place because he was all over the place. Like I think the first thing he ever gave me, he gave me one of them old 8-track boom boxes.
Yes.
8-track in the side. I think it was a JVC, had the big one speaker. Like a little speaker and to put the 8-track in it. And he gave me Parliament Funkadelic. And he gave me Kiss. There was a Kiss album that each member of Kiss had their own album, like Faces, right?
Yeah. I remember that album.
I had the Gene Simmons one. Wow. So I was listening to Parliament Funkadelic and freaking, Kiss, and then Prince. I think I had the For You album or it's one of the first Prince albums.
Prince is badass, man. So it's Kiss, man. Shit, Detroit Rock City. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Like, what was that one? That badass, bro. Shit.
Yeah. So that was my influence. So that's what kind of got me in.
The other day was that Kiss was like the rock and roll Beatles and stuff like that. Blew my fucking mind, bro. Because you never think of it in that manner. Like, shit, dude. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, definitely, brother.
Yes, sir.
How did the landscape of music in LA look like back then? Paint the picture for us, because we were talking about electro funk before gangster rap, man. And a lot of people don't give the electro funk enough credit, but it's the foundation to the West Coast, our music, man. You know?
You know what I tell people, man? It's not only a foundation to the West Coast music,
yes,
it's a foundation to hip hop. Because if you think about it, East Coast rap was doing electro funk too. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, you know, Melly Mel, all of them, they were doing up tempo rap.
Yes,
and that was kind of like the thing. So on the West Coast, I tell people the difference between West Coast rap and East Coast rap in the early 80s. We were about partying and freaking out here. It was parties and freaks. East Coast, it was poverty. Because, you know, even if you listen to the Grandmaster Fly, like, unemployed.
The message, yeah.
It was like, it was poverty.
Yeah.
We was poor, but we was partying and chasing women. So that's kind of how we got into it.
And we talking about like Egyptian Lover, Romeo and Joe Cooley,
homies,
even Frost and Ice-T's, their early stuff prior to them getting on, and of course the LA Dream Team, man. You know what I'm saying? Frost and all their earlier stuff was electro funk and stuff like that, and the World Class Wrecking Crew, right? Like the Fly and stuff like that.
Yeah, Juice, Surgery, you know, everybody, me, Dre, we all were doing dance music back in the day, and not until, you know, maybe mid going into late 80s did it kind of flip into like more hardcore rap.
Yeah, we're talking like Panic Zone and then Give Me Something to Dance To. And LA's the place, man. I love all those songs, dude. Give me something to dance to, dude. Because I grew up in like up until 10 years old in HP, man, in Huntington Park, and all my brothers and all that's what we would bump, man. All that stuff right there, man.
Yeah,
you know? I'll tell you, give me something to dance to. For me, that was like one of my. Even my son, he's 10 years old right now, man. He loves that song, dude.
Wow. I'll tell you something. Yeah, I'll tell you something about that song. So the reason that NWA did dance records on their gangster hip hop, when we first started doing it, we knew that we weren't going to get radio play.
Yeah.
And me and Dre and Yella, you know, we was all doing that dance music before. So we knew we could get that on the radio. So we did one on each album. Even on Eazy's album, we did the song Radio, remember?
Yeah, Radio. Yeah.
And then we did Easy. Was it Easy Does It was another clean one? We did a couple of clean ones. We did Radio and then another one on each album, just to make sure we had something that the radio could play. Because way back, they weren't editing records. It was clean or we wasn't playing it. And then
they had Greg Mack on there. Radio had Greg Mack on there from 1580 K Day, right?
Yep. Yes, sir. I just talked to Greg Mack too.
Damn, I would love to interview Greg Mack, dude. That dude, damn, that fucking 1580 K Day, dude, and all the mix masters there, dude. Man, dude, and I told this. I had interviewed DJ Yella, and I told him this story that when because I was young, you know, back in the 80s, and when I first heard radio, I thought that Square Dance Rap, I thought that was Eazy-E, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, Posse's like the voice. You know what I'm saying? He has that unique voice, man.
That's funny. I'm actually doing a concert tomorrow with
Semixala. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. At what point do you become a member of NWA, and around what year?
So how that happened, it was kind of weird, man. So me and Dre, I remember the day.
Yeah.
We were rolling to Venice Beach to go chase some women, you know.
Yeah.
Dre was telling me a story how he had met this cat named Easy.
Yes.
Cat lived in the hood. And like we all kind of knew who he was because he was like the neighborhood pharmaceutical technician.
Yeah.
And he had the nice car, he had the money. So he was like, yeah, man, I met this dude named Easy, man, and he wants to get out of what he's doing. And I talked him into like, let's get into the music business. He gonna put up a little money. Let's start this new group. So I talked to him and he was like, all right, we'll try something. Then we ended up talking to one of his homeboys, MC Ren.
Yes.
And then Ice Cube had gone away to school.
Yes.
Architect or something in Arizona.
Yeah.
And we started working on music, and you know, Yella was Dre's homie, so we was all kind of working on music together. Yeah. And then Cube came back and said, oh, I want in on this. So he came back, and that's how it kind of started, man. It was just like putting a little mini super group together.
And that was around the NWA and the Posse, correct?
Yeah. So I'll tell you that one. So that record right there, and I always tell people this. NWA and the Posse is a bootleg record.
It's a bootleg record, huh?
Because we did an EP called NWA. So if you got the original that says NWA, that's rare, right? And when we left McCullough Records, who used to be our manufacturer and distributor, he started bootlegging us and made that record. He added some other stuff like Feeler Fresh Crew.
Okay, so Feeler Fresh Crew wasn't originally on that NWA.
Nah, it went down with us. We didn't know who they were back then. Now I knew. Now DOC was down with Feeler Fresh Crew. Not us, but they put that together and put it out as an album when we were on our way over to Priority Records to make Priority.
And talk to us about who's on that album, man. You got Crazy D there. You look Candyman, right?
Yeah, man. I literally just talked. Candyman's actually on the show tomorrow too.
Wow.
Yeah, we got a big concert tomorrow.
Damn, where's that at, man?
Oh, we out in Denver, man. It's a big show, dude. Like Candyman, JJ Fad, my girl group.
Talk about Candyman. Candyman's first album right there with Johnny J.
Yeah,
yes, sir. Off of Syndicate. That was Ice-T's, right? Syndicate?
Yeah, that was Syndicate. Yep.
Yeah. Damn, bro. And you know, man, a lot of people try to rewrite history and not give the proper credit that's deserved. And it kind of seems like they leave all the time, like you and Crazy D out, when a lot of the time, you know, you guys were part of it, especially on the videos. You guys would come out, or Crazy D would come out, right, on the video too. Wasn't it? I forgot. I think it was Express Yourself or one of those videos he's on there. Yeah.
Well, it's just, you know, it's all political, man. You know, like I left first because I was the one that exposed our manager Jerry Heller of ripping us off, and then later on, Easy's wife, you know, didn't really like me much either because I was one of the only ones that was getting royalty still. Because when I left the group, I took care of my business and got paid, you know, and she don't like really paying me much. I ain't got a problem with it. I actually tried to reach out to her a couple of times saying, like, let me come help you get Ruthless Records back off the ground, because it's a shame that
it's like a catalog. It's a catalog company now, right? They haven't put anything out, right?
It could be huge, man. Just that brand, that name, and just everything about it. It needs to come back. So maybe I'll reach out again and say, look, I'm down with you. Let's see if we can revitalize the legacy of Eazy-E.
And why do you think people love Eazy-E so much, man? Like, why do you think he's so iconic, man? You know,
real. I mean, that little sucker was real, man. He was crazy.
He gets so much love, man, from the Mexican. Everybody loves him till this day, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
He's like a James Dean or something, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's so popular, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Miss Eazy. His birthday just passed too. So
wow, man. Talk to us about your production and what tracks you produce, and who have you produced for, brother?
Woo, man. Because
I know you had a lot to do with that Straight Outta Compton, right?
Yeah.
And what about that Eazy Does It?
A lot of the NWA stuff, a lot of the stuff just on Ruthless before I left. You know, who else? JJ Fad, Supersonic. That's my song.
I had the original copy off of Rudy Pardee's label. I gave it to Yella maybe like 2 weeks ago. I seen them at a pop-up event and stuff like that. Yeah. That's so how that happened was me and Dre used to date a couple of girls that were in the Wrecking Crew. I mean, not the Wrecking Crew, in JJ Fad. Right? Yes.
When they were before they was a group, it was just some girls we knew. We would always go hang out with them out in Rialto.
Wow.
They were always like, we want to make a record. And Dre was like, man, I ain't messing with y'all. Like, nah. So one day they cornered me in the studio. I was in there working on something else. They're like, come on, let's do something. So I did a couple songs for them. I did Another Hoe Bites the Dust and Supersonic.
Wow, Supersonic, man. That's iconic, dude. Iconic till this day, man. Like,
sure, I still got the 808 around here somewhere that I did it.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
Damn. You've also done work in production for Bobby Jimmy and the Critters, man.
Yeah, and that's the craziest story. There it is. That
field right there, man. If you want that, I can send it to you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But that is the craziest story because I was only maybe 17 at the time, maybe 18, because I knew it was like 84, 83, 84. And I just graduated high school, right?
Yes.
And everybody around me was making records. Like Dre and Yella was like, hey man, we about to make a record, the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
Like, what? And I was hanging around Egypt at the time, who was always DJing together. And Egypt was like, we about to make a record, Uncle Jam's Army. We about to drop. I'm like, what the hell? Hey, I want to make a record. Right? So I went in the studio. I had saved up some money, man, like $500. I had this dude I was working for give me another $500. I went to a recording studio. I had never been in a recording studio in my life.
Wow.
But my mom's was a piano teacher, so I knew how to play. I knew what I wanted in my head. Like, I'm like, okay, I want to make some craft work sounding Planet Rock. You know, I wanted to make it sound like that. And then I love Prince, right? Because I was, at the time, I was dressing like Prince back then. Because everybody,
Prince is the shit, dude. Prince is badass. One of my favorite shit.
I made a record. It didn't come out exactly like I wanted, but it was dope. I was like, I like this shit. It's hot. So I go to Macola Records because I hear that's what everybody's going to get their records pressed.
Yes.
So I remember getting down there, and I don't even think I had a car at the time, dude. I think I could bus out to Hollywood. Wow. So I go in, and I asked the lady in the front, like, hey, I want to get my record done. I hear my boys is getting their records here. She would say, okay, I'll let you talk to the owner. Russ Parr, who was Bobby Jimmy, and he was the morning radio show host on there, right? Yes. He was there talking to the owner, and he came up. He said, "Oh, you got a record?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a record." He said, "You a producer?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a producer. I produced crap. That's the only song I ever done." I was like, "Yeah, I'm a producer." So we listened to my record, and he was like, "Man, this is hot." He said, "I'll tell you what, I got a deal for you." He said, "I'll put your record on my label if you produce Bobby Jimmy and the Critters." And I'm like, okay. So I got a job producing and my record put out for nothing. So
dude, you're very creative, man. Very innovative, brother. You know, and that's when it comes to music, man. I could tell by the way that you just follow your passion, man. You know what I'm saying? That New York, LA rappers on Bobby Jimmy and the Critters. I saw some of those labels off of Ruthless that they just put out kind of like that one track there.
Yeah, we had later on signed a deal with Ruthless to put out Bobby Jimmy and the Critters. So that ended up on Ruthless Records.
And a lot of those funny songs like that they would make. Didn't NWA do cover songs like that where they would copy, kind of make them funny too at the beginning, right?
Yeah, we would do the little skits and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Did you help do any production on Easy's album, on that Easy Does It?
Yeah, I was there working on a lot of the beats and a lot of the concepts and ideas with Dre and Yella, and I worked on everything there until the day I left. It kind of
seemed like Easy kept some of that comedy throughout his CDs that he would drop and stuff like that. I'd rather fuck you, automobile and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Easy was funny.
Give me that nut on that real motherfucking G's and shit like that album.
Yeah.
How was Easy as a person, man? Any stories or anything that stands out to you in reflection? You know what I'm saying? That after all these years?
Yeah, man. He was a cool ass cat, man. He was real. He didn't take no mess. I remember, every time we do a show somewhere, somebody be trying to like step to us, and Easy was the first to step back, on everybody else. So he wasn't a dude to be messed with. That's one thing I tell people. Just because he was little in stature, he was big and real. So he was a real deal.
Wow. Talk to us about your brother A-Rob album, man, off of Morpheus Records, which was also your label mates, Compton's Most Wanted and DJ Unknown.
Yeah, I think I just got off the phone with Unknown DJ, man. That's my boy.
He was also right. He was also part of the original KDY, right?
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff, original mix master stuff back in the day. Was part of the original Wrecking Crew back in the day. He did a lot of stuff, man. And we went over to Orpheus, like when I left NWA.
Yes.
I went over to Orpheus Records. That was part of EMI to drop my record. And, I wanted to kind of just do what I wanted to do. And then Compton's Most Wanted was over there as well. And it was a good thing.
Pretty cool album right there, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. And then talk to us about Crazy D and then his electro funkin'. What was his part in NWA, brother? I know he was bringing back a little bit of that electro funk not too long ago too, right?
Yeah. I actually talked to him a few months ago, man. Crazy D is crazy.
Yeah.
He was the homie too. He was down with the crew, NWA crew back in the day.
I know he would go back and forth with Cypress Hill or with like Mellow Mayonnaise and them too, right? Back in those days like that.
Yeah. And actually Mellow, the homie, man, we don't tell nobody, man, but we play golf. So
yeah. Mellow Mayonnaise, dude, cool dude, man. Very humble too, man.
Yes, sir.
Does electro funk live? And is it the father of house music, deep house, techno, and trance, brother?
Yeah, it is. I tell people the electro funk started it all. This whole EDM movement, everything, and I don't know if you noticed, every time a new artist drops an electro funk beat or redoes a track, it blows up.
Yes, man. That's the shit right there, dude. I love that
yes,
music.
Sir.
How do you feel that the hip hop music scene has changed since the 80s, and what do you feel it's lacking nowadays, brother? In your perspective.
I'm a realist, right?
Yes.
So I'm a music scholar. I study music. I appreciate all forms of music.
Yes.
So I understand. I may not like every rap record that comes out now. I didn't like every rap record that came out then. So for me, it was kind of like, I look at it for what it is. You got to look at it generationally. Yeah, there it is, generationally. Yes. When we were young, and you brought up Kiss, and you brought up the Beatles.
Yes.
When the Beatles were coming up, the parents and that generation before were like, them damn Beatles, that's just noise. What kind of music is that? Rock and roll. What is this crap? Right? It's the same thing. So now that me as a rapper, I'm an old ass man considered to younger rappers or the younger generation, I sound old. I'm like, that rock ass hippity hop record stuff. Yeah, it's the same thing. But you gotta appreciate it. For me, a jam is a jam. If it's banging, I'm with it. I don't care what they're talking about, because everybody talking about whatever. As long as it's a good song. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some garbage out there. There's garbage. There's been garbage for the last 100 years. But, I just appreciate all music, man, and more power to this younger generation.
Yeah. You think it's a little bit easier for them to get on, though, now with the downloads and how people are able to do music at home? And,
I think it's two ways. It's easier for them to get on. The technology is easier for them to make beats. Like fools is making beats on their phone now, right? On their tablet.
Yes.
But you got to look at the other way. It's harder to be successful because now you got 900,000 people making records. Yeah. Before, it was like us. It was like 12 people making records, especially rap.
And people appreciated that and would go look for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now it's just like...
They would fiend for it, bro. Like, whoa, where can I pick this up? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, now you don't really know who's who because there's so much music out there.
Yeah. We spoke about the Beatles, man. Were you a Beatles or a Stones fan?
I was more of a Stones fan. Like the Beatles to me, and I hope no British people get mad at me. Because when we were young, I'm not sure how old you are. You remember the Monkees?
45.
Okay, you remember? Did you ever see the Monkees?
Yeah. Hey, we're the Monkees. Yeah.
Hey, we're the Monkees. Yeah. The Beatles was like the Monkees to me because I would watch the Monkees on TV, and I'm like, hey, that's the Beatles. Oh, they like the Beatles. So the Beatles was more like comedy to me. It was like funny music.
Yeah.
That sound, you know what I mean? Yeah. Rolling Stones and, like I said, Kiss, and like I was into like the darker stuff, like the Van Halen and like the rough music back then. That's what I was into.
Yeah, man, dude, She's So Cold, Under My Thumb, all that, dude. Fucking Stones are badass, man.
Yes, sir.
Who do you feel you learned more from musically, man? Egyptian Lover, Dre back in the days, production-wise, or did you guys kind of all vibe off of each other, brother?
I think it was a collective, man. We all brought something, like, I was a young kid in the hood that helped everybody out because I was like the tech dude, right? I knew how to run the drum machines and the sequencers and the synthesizers back in the day. Because back then, MIDI came later. Like when we first started, there was no MIDI.
Wow.
Then MIDI showed up and we had to figure all that out. So I was the one that helped everybody figure things out. So I hung with Egypt when he was learning how to use the 808. I hung with Dre and the Wrecking Crew when they were learning how to use all the...
And they were rivals, right? Was it the Wrecking Crew?
Wrecking Crew was against
So you were the bridge. You were the bridge to that then.
Yeah, because I hung out with everybody, like Dream Team, them who were. I didn't care because I was a solo artist, so I was just down with everybody. I was trying to get paid.
Yeah, you're learning from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like soaking it in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's your favorite Egyptian lover song, man?
It's always like Egypt, but I would say for me, Dial Freak. You know, since that was the first one that kind of started that sound for them for Uncle Jim's Army, and then he's got another song that not too many people. Me and him actually did a track together.
Oh, did you?
A few years ago. Yeah, there's a track out on his.
Yeah. What's the name of that one?
It's called. Oh man, I have to look it up. It's like it's me and him both on the same track. I think I'm gonna look it up while I'm talking to you. I think it's on his 1983 album or 1984 album that he did. But yeah, we did a song together. And
shit, I gotta look that up, brother. Shit.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Let's see here, record. But yeah, I like all them tracks, man. Oh, here it is. It's called Here We Go.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna search it later. I'm gonna add that to my playlist, man.
Oh yeah. Here it was like we were just in the studio messing around. It's like a demo, like a limited edition thing. We were like, let's just do something.
Wow. That's dope, man. One of my favorites of his is that it's a little bit later one is that Let's Get It On. Oh, dude, that's a dope one, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Talk to us about the love for technology and when did it start and where has it led you to? Where you're at now?
Man, like, how can I put this? So, music blessed me to learn like all of the different types of technology, right?
Yes.
Because you had to learn computers in order to sequence music. So we were doing electronic music.
Yes.
You had to learn computers in order to be able to like do multiple tracks and have a sequencer run and arpeggiator and all of the stuff we were trying to do. So for that flipped me into doing animation, video games. Because I've worked on like tons of video games and I did all the
name us some of the video games that you've worked on and where could we find them at?
Man, so let me start. When I first started getting into it, I did the visual effects on the Power Rangers. Like the first series of Power Rangers, I worked on Power Rangers, Silver Surfer, Addams Family, Casper.
Dude, that's dope, man. What?
Then I worked on like
that's mind blowing, bro.
Dude, I've worked on the Simpsons Hit and Run game.
Damn.
The King of the Hill game. I worked on Lord of the Rings.
Fucking
Scratch
countless, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on like hundreds of projects, man, over the last like 40 years, you know.
True entrepreneur, brother.
Yeah, still to this day, still grinding.
And then talk to us about your Innovate Next movement and then you're open that, bro, because that's important for the future generation. You know what I'm saying?
So most of my stuff now, so Innovate Next Open Labs, we build and help companies build technology centers for inner city kids. I'm all about getting more kids into technology, gaming, and all of that. So I'm helping a lot of companies, including like the Department of Education, just get kids into tech, right? So that's what I do.
Yes.
And recently, like literally last week, we made a huge announcement. I'm now the CEO of a medical metaverse company called MD Dial, like MD and DL. Wow. So we're about to take medical and make it interactive and gamify it to make it easier for people to have access to medical.
Wow.
So that's the new project.
Damn, man. Amazing, dude. Like, mind blowing, brother. And then you're also the CEO of Goat.
Yeah, Goat's my new PC company with 3 Gs, triple G Oat. And that came about during the pandemic. Like, nobody could get computers, right?
Yes.
And everybody started hitting me up. All my DJ boys was hitting me up because I was streaming on Twitch, doing Twitch stuff.
Yeah, was that because of the hold up or just the pandemic in itself, right?
So you couldn't get the chips, you couldn't get the parts. Also, the demand went up tenfold because nobody could go in the office. Everybody wanted to buy computers for home.
To work from home.
Then all the DJs who were used to touring and all the performers who used to going out and touring, they were like, well, we can't tour. Then people was like, oh, we can stream. And most people had MacBooks. And what Apple MacBook is not built for gaming or streaming, right? It's not robust enough. You need a PC with a graphics card and all of that.
Yeah.
So my DJ buddy was like, man, I'm trying to stream and it's like my computer ain't working. It's getting hot. It's shutting down. Yeah. What can I do? And I was like, dude, you got to get a PC. And some of my homeboys who own PC companies, bigger PC companies, were like, yes, you should make your own company. So I started a company called GOAT. And a lot of the people were streaming on Twitch right now or doing all kind of streaming and DJing. They're using my computer.
Wow. Dude, the future is very bright for you. One more question about it. What was NWA listening to back then when you guys are creating that Straight Outta Compton album? What were you guys listening to?
We were, like me and Dre, I remember we were always listening to like old funk records. That's where a lot of that sound came from.
Originated.
Yes. Old funk records, Parliament Funkadelic, just old funk, the Last Poets. Damn. That's kind of what we were vibing off of back then. And even to this day, and when I'm in the car, I listen to a lot of old funk,
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that Parliament, man. I got to get me a Parliament record, man.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Down with that P-Funk.
Yeah. Bro, if you could make a mixtape of your life, what would be song number one?
Song number one, you talking about, is it my music or just anything?
Anything you want, brother.
Oh, anything I want?
Yeah.
Man, song number one would be probably, there's a song that Parliament Funkadelic did that I was really crazy down for. And it was Tales of Kid Funkadelic.
Wow.
And
I gotta look that one up.
Crazy quick story about it. It's like a 15-minute song, right?
Wow. Yeah, all their stuff was at least 8 minutes and up, right?
Yeah, and it was all like synthesizers and stuff, right? And chants. And when I was a little kid, I used to sit in my room and listen to that song in the dark. And my mom thought I was crazy. She thought I was like listening to devil worship music because that's what it sounded like. She even took me to a psychiatrist because she thought I was crazy. Damn. And I was just vibing out on the
vibing off of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be my first joint. And then right behind that would be like Prince Head.
Oh, shit, dude. Yeah. Prince is badass, dude. Well, that's one of my next questions I was going to ask, but Prince or MJ? Prince, right?
Always Prince, man. But what? I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
I put them right there neck and neck because even though I'm a huge Prince fan, I respect Michael Jackson's ability to rock a crowd.
Yeah. But he wouldn't play the guitar and all that shit. Prince would play the guitar and shit.
That's just it. They're two different people. Prince was a musician.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was a performer. So it's kind of, Prince was a performer too, don't get me wrong. But you can't put those two people together. It's like saying, oh, Steph Curry or Michael Jordan. I'm like, that's two kind of different basketball players. They both good, but you can't compare them. But I listen to one of my favorite Michael Jackson joints is Smooth Criminal. That's
the jam. Yeah. Dude, I even like his later stuff. They don't really care about us.
Oh yeah.
Pac ended up kind of redoing too.
Yeah.
And you listen to the lyrics on that shit, dude. I was like, dude, my son's all into hip hop. He's 10 right now. And then I played on both and he was like, whoa, like blew his mind. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You're a gamer from the 80s. Galaga or Pac-Man?
Woo, you hit me with that one, right?
Yeah.
Galaga or Pac-Man. So I always got little stories, right? So I have to tell you a little story. So for me, I would say I got to go with Pac-Man. Pac-Man's the OG.
Man, I thought you were going to say Galaga right there, bro.
Because you know what? Instead of Galaga, if you had said Galaxian,
talk
about OGs. Like Galaga was like the second game.
All right.
You know, so like if you had said Miss Pac-Man or Galaxian, I probably would have went with Galaxian.
Okay.
But Galaga, if you said Galaga, I would have went with Galaga. But I can't go with Galaxian because that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vinyl records or downloads? We got 4.5 minutes left. Vinyl records or downloads?
Vinyl records, man.
Definitely. I could see those turntables back there.
Yeah, man. Always got the vinyl. I'm always gonna do that thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't really download much, dude. I really don't. I listen to music, but
bro. We gotta keep that alive, man. The vinyl records, man, because these kids don't know about that, man. You know what I'm saying? Just that sound of the vinyl, man. Even the 45,
I even sample
man,
my own vinyl for my Serato. I sample my vinyl.
Oh, nice.
I'd rather do that than go download it from somewhere.
Definitely, because there's a lot of tracks on records that you can't find on the downloads and stuff.
Yes, I got them.
Yeah, I know, man. Shoot, I listened to you. I think it was your 5 different B-sides.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking dope shit, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna name 4 artists. You pick one out of them.
Okay.
Egyptian Lover, Mixmaster Spade, Eazy-E, or Ice-T.
Woo! Man, oh man, I gotta go with the homie Ice-T because
damn, man, you're going for a new boy.
Right.
I could have sworn you were gonna say Gallagher, and I could have sworn you were gonna say Egyptian. I would have bet money on it, bro.
I'm gonna tell you why. Ice is the triple OG.
Yeah.
He's the one that put LA down on the map, right?
Yeah.
When it came to that, and also I'm biased. Like Egypt's the brother, the homie.
Yeah.
Like from another mother. We always gonna be down. Ice-T, me and Ice-T got a new company that we just starting. So,
all right, okay.
Gotta give a little that, but
Ice-T's the man, dude. New Jack Hustlers, man. All his
Haunted
Child.
I put Ice-T in his first video game when I was working on video games.
Wow.
They hit me up. It's like, who can we get for this video game we got called Sanity? I did a game called Sanity with Fox.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, Ice, you want me in a video game? He was like, are they paying me? I was like, yeah. He's like, let's get it. So I got his first video.
So you were the first one to do that, because I know that Eazy-E was planning on doing a video game and such, but you were the first to do it, right?
Yeah, I've been doing that since the 80s, for sure.
Yeah. Dude, we got 1:47 left. Tell us where we could find you at. Tell us where we could find your products. And is there anything that you want to leave us with, Mr.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me, OG Arabian Prince is on my social. So if you look up OG Arabian Prince, you'll find me. Go check out the computer company GOAT with 3 G's, GGGOAT. So yes. GOAT PC. Or you can go check out the new thing, All the Medical, which is MDDAO, MD Dial, man. We blowing up the spot. Go check us out.
Damn, dude, the future is bright for you, man. Thank you for being so humble, man. And like I said, you're an inspiration, dude. You showed that you could, having many different passions and being successful at all of them, dude. Shit, man.
Hey, I'm like I said, man, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just trying to be, I don't want to say like a model citizen. I'm just trying to be who I am and trying to make sure that next generation of youth get the knowledge, man. It's all about knowledge. It's all about
planting the seed for the future, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Arabian Prince. We invited you back, to do another one.
Oh, man, anytime. I appreciate you for having me once again. OG Arabian Prince in the building.
Peace.
NWA, MD Dial. Let's go. Peace.
Yeah. Peace, love, and light, and we're out of here. Peace. Yeah. Duran Customz interview numero 15. We are saluting, we are honoring Mr. Soren Baker for his love and his passion for journalism and music, brother. He's worked for Source magazines. He's written for Source magazine, Double XL, LA Times, New York Times, and he's written his book. The history of gangster rap from Schoolie D to Kendrick Lamar. The rise of a great American art form, brother. How you doing? Thank you for being here.
Yeah. I'm very grateful. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I gotta say thank you for what you do, for your interviews and on Unique Access, brother, and your the Great Debaters album reviews. I wouldn't be doing what I do, brother. We wouldn't be having this interview because you're just laid back. Your style of interviewing, brother. Wow, it's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the support and the kind words. So thank you very much.
What was it earlier on that propelled you towards journalism, brother? Earlier on, what was it?
When I grew up in Maryland, I grew up right in between Baltimore and Washington.
Wow.
And because of that, Washington, D.C., of course, the nation's capital,
yes.
The national news for a lot of people around the country is our local news because of the government. But then also with Baltimore, I got to see two major cities. I was about 20 miles from each one, 20 miles Baltimore, 20 miles from Washington, D.C. So there was always news going on. And then in my growing up, my parents, especially my dad, liked to read a lot. And so we had the Washington Post newspaper, we had the Baltimore Sun newspaper.
Wow.
And then we also lived about 10 miles from the capital of Maryland, which is Annapolis, and they have a paper called The Capital.
Wow.
So we got those three, but then we also got a fourth newspaper called the Maryland Gazette, which was also closer to where I grew up in Gambrills, and it covered that area. So right away I was getting four newspapers, and then on TV we got the Washington news channels and the Baltimore news channels.
Wow.
So there was so much news, so much information coming on all the time. And where I grew up, especially at the time, it's a lot different now, but where I grew up, you know, it was not that much going on. Now it's a lot busier and developed and all that stuff, but when I grew up, it wasn't. So I was always like, man, there's so much going on in Baltimore, so much going on in DC, so much going on in New York and Philadelphia and Los Angeles, wherever. And I was like, I'd like to be involved in that. So I was like, oh, well, the journalists get to fly around, get to talk to people, get to do stuff. And at the same time, I was loving rap. So I was like, oh, well, if I can interview the artists or write about the artists or meet the artists.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah, that was my idea. And since rap was my favorite thing in the world, I was just trying to figure out how I could, Ice-T's character in New Jack Hustler says, how can I be down? So
how can I be down?
So man, I just
what a great movie that was, man. That's one of my favorite songs at the New Jack Hustlers, brother.
That's
Deep cover movie or New Jack Hustlers?
You mean the Deep cover song or New Jack Hustler song?
The movie.
Oh, I'd go with New Jack City. I prefer New Jack City.
What's the better soundtrack?
Soundtrack overall is New Jack City. Yes.
You got it, brother. And you're talking about Maryland. Maryland raised Tupac. They gave Tupac his game.
Well, a lot of famous people, a lot of famous, very important people are from Maryland.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it safe to say you were a Baltimore Colts fan then, back in the days?
Actually, at the time, they had a different name, but I was more of a Washington football team fan because my mom was born in Washington, D.C., and then she grew up literally bordering it in Tacoma Park, Maryland, which is, I think, where she grew up was a mile from Washington, D.C.
All right.
So my mom grew up watching the Washington football team, and so did I. I also liked the Colts, but I was much more because of my mom.
John Riggins, man.
Yeah, John Riggins. Doug Williams, Art Monk.
Doug Williams. Yeah, there you go, bro. Yeah.
Mark Duper. We had all kinds of people. The Hogs.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of people.
I just remember that was it 83 or when he broke his leg and he still played, man. Was it
Theismann?
Oh, Theismann, you're right.
No, Theismann, he was done. He never played again, I don't think.
Oh, okay. My bad. My bad. What was it specifically about hip hop that pulled you in and grabbed your attention, brother? What was it about hip hop?
Well, when I was 10 is when I fell in love with rap and then hip hop culture. And basically, I loved the music because, interestingly enough, I really felt like I could identify with it. My friend Tom Erdely had made me a tape. I went to elementary school with him.
Yes.
When I was around 10, I asked him I said, hey, man, have you heard any of this rap stuff? And I kind of like what I heard. Is there any more of it? He's like, dude, there's a lot of rap. I was like, really?
Wow.
So he made me a tape. And on the tape, it was Nightmares by Dana Dane.
Wow.
It was Big Mouth by Houdini, You Talk Too Much, Run DMC, Roxanne, UTFO, The Show by Dougie Fresh, MC Ricky D, and the Get Fresh crew. So there were all these stories. And then I was big into playing basketball. So there was Basketball by Curtis Blow was on there. So these songs, I could identify with liking a girl and her not liking me, like Roxanne. I could identify with playing basketball with Curtis Blow. I could identify with having a nightmare like Dana Dane described.
Dana Dane, man. Weren't they all in the group? Slick Rick, Dana Dane, in high school or something like that, right?
Yeah, they were in the Kango crew together.
Kango crew, right? Yeah. Definitely.
So I loved all that. And then I didn't understand this till later about myself, but I've always been very drawn to percussion. So I really like drums. And in that time of 1985, 86, 84, 83, most of the music that was being made was largely drum driven. Yeah. And then I liked the sound of scratching. So it was all this stuff. And then I also didn't like and didn't feel connected to, or that I could relate to, a lot of the rock music that was going on, that some of my white friends were listening to, or that I would see. We didn't have a cable at the time, but when I go to my friend's house, if they were playing MTV or something, I liked it, but I wasn't like gung-ho about it. So when I heard rap, I was like, this is it. This is what I want.
This is my home right here, right? I remember I have a similar story too. Like my brothers would bring home cassette tapes that had mixed songs on it, and I remember it had Sir Mix-a-Lot on there, Square Dance Rap.
Oh yeah.
And growing up in Huntington Park, you know, in Southern California over here, and then we later on moved to the San Gabriel Valley, I used to think that he was Eazy-E because that voice, you know what I'm saying? Because I swore I was like, and I was blown away like, oh man, because around that same time, Boys in the Hood came out, you know?
Right.
So, yeah. So
that's great.
What was your first piece of vinyl you purchased and where at, brother? Do you remember, if you could recall?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but the closest thing I can remember is when I was a kid, I'd already had vinyl. I'd already had albums and all this stuff, but I do remember the first time I asked for vinyl or an album for Christmas and my parents got it for me was Houdini's Open Sesame album.
Wow.
So that was the first one I remember getting that was special. And my parents, thankfully, I'm very fortunate that my mom and my dad have really supported me and encouraged me. And that started when I was a little kid with rap. They would help me, you know, do jobs or take me to the record store, mainly my dad. But when I got that Christmas present, man, I was so excited. Dude,
Houdini, dude. Don't get no better than Houdini, one of the greatest groups of all time, dude.
Absolutely.
Definitely, brother. 5 Minutes of Funk, man, friends, shoot. Who are some of your favorite artists and albums of all time, brother? You know?
Well, my favorite artist is Schoolie D. He's my favorite. He's my
PSK?
hero. Yep. He's my favorite rapper. There's so many reasons I like him. And, you know, a lot of people aren't very familiar with him, but they're familiar with the people who have sampled him. Biggie remade one of his songs.
Yeah. On the double album, right?
Yeah. The B.I.G. interlude.
That's
PSK.
That's the PSK right there.
Absolutely. And then Jay-Z remade it more recently. One of the more recent ones, which is now a little bit older, but Nicki Minaj on Bees in the Trap, the song with 2 Chainz, she used the PSK flow on there.
All right.
And then you know, DJ Premier sampled them. Jay-Z used the PSK beat.
And if it wasn't for PSK, we wouldn't have 6 in the morning, correct?
That's correct. We wouldn't have Boys in the Hood, maybe.
There you go.
The first 3 real songs that made gangster rap what it is are PSK, What Does It Mean by Schoolie D. That came out in 85. You got 6 in the Morning with Ice-T in 86. And then in 87, you got Boys in the Hood by Eazy-E. So those are the 3 main ones that kicked it all off and got us to where we are.
Definitely, brother. And I was listening to Gangster Boogie, man, from Schoolie D. Wow. And he's talking about selling weed and doing all this. Whoa, dude. That's badass. Man.
Yeah, that was 84.
That was 84.
PSK and Gucci Time were the single that came out in 85, but Gangster Boogie didn't get nearly as popular, and in my opinion, wasn't nearly as good as PSK or Gucci Time, but he still did it, and he still was cussing it.
Even for me, like just hearing that, like selling weed, like, man, shit, dude, I never heard nobody talk about that earlier on like that. Man, you know, I love all your interviews, man. The ones with Colt 187, Ice-T, and then I was looking at the one with Yella. And I had watched previous interviews and I was thinking, man, if I get a chance to interview Yella, I'm going to mention this question. And you mentioned it. about Kid Frost, man. But I had thought that it was on Terminator, and he had produced it. But you're right, it was rough cut, and he was scratching on it, right? I don't even think Yella remembered too much though when you brought it up, huh?
No, he didn't remember until I said it, and he's like, "Oh yeah." But that's
very knowledgeable, man. You're very knowledgeable.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, as I hope you can tell, it seems you do, but I just love rap, man. It's my favorite thing in the world. So since I was 10, I've been studying it, and thankfully I have, knock on wood, a good memory, so I remember a lot. But I also actively listen to it and study it and read about it and all these things, and steadily talking to people and always trying to learn more and find different things about it because I love it.
Yeah. Have you ever interviewed Kid Frost?
I have not, that I recall.
Okay. How about Toker from the Bronx side? Did you ever get a chance to interview him?
No, unfortunately, I did not.
Wow. From being a big fan of hip hop to becoming a journalist.
Wait, I take it back. I have interviewed Frost.
Oh, did you?
I was thinking of a different place, but now I remember I did interview Frost. I believe it was a mic check in the Source.
Okay.
When he was on Relativity Records.
Okay. Because he was also signed to Ruthless, I believe, after his second album. Was it the Smile Now Cry Later one?
That's the same era.
Okay.
At Relativity.
Yes. Right. Cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just over the phone, though, unfortunately. When if I've interviewed people, I usually think of in person.
In person, okay.
But I got to remember sometimes I just talk to them over the phone.
Wow, that's awesome, brother. So from being a big fan of hip hop to becoming a journalist, brother, and working for Source Magazine, Double XL, writing for Hip Hop DX, and so on. How was that transition, or did it come naturally, and how did it feel?
I mean, I've been very fortunate. I, started off in college at Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio. I started writing for the school newspaper, the Xavier Newswire.
Yes.
And from there, once I started getting published, I just would send out my articles to any place I saw that wrote about rap. And of course, I wanted to write for the Source and Rap Sheet and Rap Pages and Vibe and Double XL and all those, because those were some of my favorite magazines. But then growing up, as I was mentioning, with my parents reading all the newspapers, I wanted to write for the Washington Post and I wanted to write for the Baltimore Sun, and I was able to do so, which was amazing. And then, I knew the Chicago Tribune, I knew the LA Times, I knew the New York Times, just because they're such prominent newspapers, and I was getting into journalism. So to be able to write for all three of them, and with the Chicago Tribune and the LA Times in particular, the LA Times I wrote for more than a decade, and the Tribune was around the same. It was a little bit shorter than that, but it was definitely a long time. And I just been very fortunate, man, because I work hard and I hustle and I do as much as I can. And it's
what a great resume! 10 years for writing for the LA Times, brother. Wow. Yeah,
I wrote hundreds of articles for them. I might be even close to 1,000.
Wow. Even just with that, man, I'd be happy to be like, you know what I say? But you got a great resume, brother. Like, damn, dude.
Thank you.
What by far has been your most memorable interview, and why?
That's always a tough one because I've had so many. But just to use Schoolie D, my favorite, I remember the first time I had been trying to interview him, and then in '95, he was putting out an album. And so I called up the label at the time and I asked them. They're like, yeah, we'll get you an interview with them. This was going to be for Rap Sheet, who I was writing for at the time, thanks to my friend and mentor, Billy Johnson Jr.
Wow.
And so Billy said I could do an article on Schoolie D. So then I called up the label, got in touch with his publicist, started setting it up. And then one day she just called me. She's like, oh, do you still want to interview Schoolie? And I was like, yeah, of course.
Wow.
She's like, oh, can you do it in 5 minutes? Because he's available. And I was like, wait, what? So I didn't have any notes. I didn't have any time to think about it or anything.
Wow. So
and
you just freestyle.
I ended up talking to him for more than 3 hours.
Wow.
Because I'd been listening to him at that point for around 10 years. And I had all these questions and all these things that I always had wanted to ask him, and I got to do it. And at the end of the interview, and this has been said to me many, many times, including by him more than once, but he always is like, man, Soren, like, I really thought you were a lot older because you know so much about me. Like, I can't believe you're so young. But I'm like, hey man, you're my favorite rapper, and you've done a lot in the game. So it was amazing, man. It was amazing. And he told me that he doesn't like to do a lot of interviews, but he's really glad that he talked to me. And again, I'm in college. I'm a kid. Yeah. I would have been around 20, give or take, at the time. So
yes. Wow, amazing, man. What an amazing story. You got to interview your idol and everything. And you mentioned rap pages, bro. So you kind of seem like you work for every major hip hop magazine that has been out there, right? That I can remember. You just yeah.
Not all, but
The Source, Hip Hop DX, Rap Sheets, and then
Rap Pages.
Double XL, yeah.
I started writing for Rap Pages when I was in college, and then I got a job in 1998 through Alan Gordon hired me, and then I worked there for a little less than 2 years before it got shut down. Larry Flint was the owner at the time, and then he shut it down and sold it. And so that was heartbreaking because I got my first job. I moved from Maryland to California for the job.
Wow.
And then I was like, oh man, it wasn't even 2 years. What's going on? But, you know, I just was like, man, I got to work harder. I got to believe in myself, and I got to buckle down. And then, like I said, my friend Billy Johnson, he came through and helped me get a job at Launch, which was a Yahoo subsidiary. And then, yeah, man, I've been very fortunate to have a lot of great friends to help me and look out for me. And then also just trying to work hard and do a great job every time.
Yes. And then I have that Eazy-E rap sheet one, man. Did you ever get to interview Eazy-E?
No, unfortunately. By the time he passed away, you know, I was only writing for only around a year. So, you know, I wasn't able to interview the big A-list artists yet. But he's, of all the artists that I didn't get to interview or see perform, he's the one. You would have been the one. Yeah,
Eazy-E, man. But at least you got to interview Ren and Yella, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I've interviewed all the rest of them.
Have you?
Yeah, I've written a lot about Ice Cube over the years. I've interviewed him probably 15, 20 times. And then Dr. Dre, I've interviewed several times too, and hung out with him and been in the studio with Dre a few times. So, and then Ren, you know, I'm friends with Ren, so I talk to him occasionally or periodically. And then Yella, I've interviewed a few times as well.
Do you remember that CPO right there, Battle of the Menace with Ren, right?
Of course.
CPO and Ren, the remix, man. That was a great
Boss Hog.
Boss Hog, brother. How long did it take for you to write and publish your book, The History of Gangster Rap, brother? Or was it just an accumulation of all that you have done and you kind of just sat there and put it together? You know what I'm saying? Throughout the years.
Well, it's a combination of both. So it took me around a year, and that's because mainly to track down the artists. Because what I did with The History of Gangster Rap is I wanted it to be almost all, I really wanted it to be all, but it ended up being almost all original reporting. So if there's a quote from the DOC or MC Ren or Ice-T or Schoolie D, it's from me talking to him for the book.
Wow.
I did a little bit, but I tried to do almost no outsourcing. So I didn't want to have when Ice Cube talked to somebody else, I didn't want to quote that. I wanted to quote Ice Cube told me something. So that's what I did for the overwhelming majority of the book. And I interviewed more than 30 artists, and there were about 4 or 5 that I wasn't able to get with, but then I'd interviewed them. So I just used my own interviews from back in the day.
Wow.
So yeah, man, it took about a year to really write it. And then, you know, you have to go through the editing and looking at the pictures and doing all that stuff. So yeah.
Did you do a documentary also for that, or was it just the book itself?
At this point, it's just a book, but we're working on trying to get a documentary or a series going. So
that would be dope, man.
That's something I'm working on trying to get off the ground right now.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. You mentioned the DOC right now. What would the landscape of West Coast hip hop been if he didn't get injured, you know, his voice injured, brother?
I definitely think it would have been different. How, I don't know, because the thing is, since the DOC works so much with Dre and since he works so much with Snoop, and he worked so much with NWA, he was still in that mix, and
it's relevant in there. Right?
So we lost him as a frontline artist, even though later, you know, he put out the Helter Skelter album and then the Deuce album.
Yes.
But, and you know, he's on skits on Brothers for Life and on other things. But of course, as everyone knows, he's evolved much more into a songwriter. And
that no one could do it better album, man. That's a tremendous album. I hold that one in high regards, even just because he never cussed in that album. Neither. It was
barely.
Barely true MC style, just and his power and his voice, the way he would stop, you know, Worldwide Pyramid. And another album that I hold in high regards at that time was the Low Profile, the Dub C album, brother. You know, they're the same way, brother.
Yes, he and DJ Aladdin had a lot going on there, man.
DJ Aladdin, one of the original mix masters, right?
He's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
What is your favorite place to go and search for vinyl records, brother? Whether it be, you know, you've been worldwide, so talk to us about some places like that you got to travel and search for vinyl records, brother.
Well, I've been to a lot of record stores, but the ones I had the most experience were a few in Baltimore. But then even though they're not super obscure, I did like going to Amoeba when it was in Hollywood, and I liked all the different Tower Records, because the thing that Tower Records had that I really enjoyed was that growing up in Maryland, they had, I would say, 90 to 95% of the stuff I wanted. I would go to all kinds of record stores, not just Tower. But I noticed when I would be traveling in college or when I started traveling for work, when I would go to a different city or state, I could still go to Tower Records because everybody knew where that was, and I could find some independent rap that I'd either only read about or heard about or what have you. So when I would go to a Memphis, I could get Tommy Wright III, and like no one was that wasn't in Maryland, but I found it in the Memphis area or Nashville area. So that was something I really enjoyed, and it was just like, oh man, I read about this like 3 months ago, and I finally can get it.
Wow, nice. How about go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that was it really. It's just and at that point I was getting much more CDs than vinyl.
Yes.
Because vinyl, as you're well aware, is harder to move and transport and all that stuff. Whereas a CD, you can it was a lot
definitely. In the 90s, that's all we have. A majority of mine and my brother's collection CDs, man, because like we said, we can't pop in a record, right? Especially in the 90s, brother. It was all about the CDs and stuff.
Yeah.
How about any would you frequent any mom and pop shops out there in Maryland to pick up any music? Because I know out here in the San Gabriel Valley, we had it was a staple in the San Gabriel Valley, Mauricio's Records. We would head there. We would know for sure if Tower Records or the warehouse didn't have it, we would go there, brother. You know what I'm saying? Was there a spot like that specifically for you guys out there in Maryland and stuff like that? Or
well, the great thing for me is that my second favorite form of music is go-go, which is indigenous to Washington, D.C. So I was close to Annapolis and I was close to Bowie. So I kind of was equidistant, about 8 to 10 miles from each. And more or less, those two cities, I could go and get more or less whatever I wanted, including in Bowie at Waxy Maxie's and Kent Mill Records, which were smaller regional chains.
Yes.
They both had a lot of go-go stuff. So that was exciting for me because I still love go-go, and I was able to get some stuff there that even wasn't in Annapolis. Wow. So I was very fortunate to grow up where I did, because most of the stores there, because Baltimore and Washington, especially when I was growing up, had such huge black populations and really supported rap as far as on the consumer side of things. It was easy. Once I started going, and as I was growing up, rap was just getting more and more popular. So it was easier to find, and it was not a big deal to be able to find records if you wanted to. Or they would, since I started to get to know some of the people at Kent Mill Records and Bowie in particular, or Waxy Maxie's, they would like look stuff up for me, or they would order it for me. And
wow, cool.
Back then, back then, whatever the price was, it was $13.99 or whatever. If they ordered it for you, it was the same price as anything else. So
yes.
I remember, having to do that with like King T records or certain things that they might have only ordered one or two. They're like, "Oh man, we sold out of that." And I said, "Well, please, could you get another one? I'll buy it." And they're like, "Sure." So
at your own risk, man. King T, brother.
Amazing stuff.
Amazing stuff, brother. From being a journalist and then your love for music, have you ever been tempted to write and drop a track? Brother?
No.
And some rhymes and drop.
I wrote one little kind of freestyle rap once, and I rapped it to myself in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And that was it. One thing is I never really pursued being an artist because as a kid, I didn't understand or appreciate the fact that a lot of my favorite artists growing up were 5, 10, 15 years older than me. For some reason, it didn't register that if I tried rapping or practiced it, that one day I'd be a better writer or I'd have a chance. So I just never thought about it. It just never occurred to me to try to pursue it. And being in Maryland, there wasn't, at that time and where I grew up, there wasn't any studio, there wasn't a record company. There was nothing. So,
wow. Yeah. Damn. So if you could make a super group in hip hop, who would be in it? 3 artists, 3 MCs, brother, and what would it be called?
Man, I'd go with my favorite and then the top 2 in my opinion. So it would be Schoolie D, LL Cool J, and KRS-One.
Ooh, man.
And I just call it, I might even call it Gangster Boogie because
nice.
LL, LL, people forget how hardcore he was and how great he is.
Booming systems, man. Shoot. That's how we would bump here. That bass, man, my brothers would have that bumping all the time, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then KRS-One on the first Boogie Down Productions will come to mind it, but KRS-One is so phenomenal. So those 3, I think, Schoolie D, all 3 of them, but really Schoolie D, and I think to some degree KRS-One and LL all did beats also, so they could really make the music, do all the raps, and do it themselves.
Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone, brother.
That's right. That is true.
What would you say to a young person who wants to follow in your footsteps and inspired by your journalism, brother? What would you say to them?
I mean, the main thing is you have to love it, because especially at first, most likely there's going to be little to no money. So you have to get into it because you love it. Yes. And from there, you got to love it. Then you got to read as much as you can and listen to as much music as you can. And then write as much as you can or do as many interviews. Yeah. So you can't wait for opportunities. You got to create your own, and then other opportunities will come to you.
Will follow in place.
And that's something that I tried to do, and I still do that till today because, even though I've done a lot of stuff, I'm still not, not every single person calls me to do something. I want to get to the point where I'm too busy because I got 17 people wanting me to do this, and I don't have time. That's what I want to be, but I'm not there. So I still got a lot to do myself.
And you still remain calm and humble through all this, brother. I don't know how you do it, brother. You're like
Well, thank you.
What was more amazing? Was it working for Source Magazine, being a fan of hip hop, or co-hosting a show at K-Day, the open bar radio with Exhibit, brother? Being that it was K-Day AY, brother. What was more fulfilling to you as a rap fan?
As a rap fan, I would probably say it was more K-Day, really, because Exhibit and I are friends. And with the Source, when I worked staff for them, I was in Los Angeles. I wasn't in the office, and I would fly in. And the Source, of course, I grew up loving and admiring, and I'm eternally grateful for all the opportunities. The difference was with Exhibit, he and I would pick the guests. He would book the guests. I would book the guests. So I was really, in addition to co-hosting Exhibit, when he invited me and his uncle Vidal to co-host it with him, that was just amazing because A, I'm friends with Exhibit. B, we got to pick the artists and coordinate the interviews. We got to pick our own music that we played.
Wow.
And
that's dope.
And to just be able to highlight a lot of the great West Coast artists that normally didn't get a lot of shine. Like we interviewed the DOC for Open Bar Radio. We had MC Ren on Open Bar Radio. Yeah. And then we brought MC Ren back and had MC Ren and DJ Yella on when Straight Outta Compton, the movie, came out. Yeah. So to be able to do that, we were, we were the first radio interview ever of Vince Staples because I had been following him.
Yes.
And I was able to, something that I'm always excited and proud of, that, I was able to see how amazing he was. So,
and not only that, they had Eazy-E had Ruthless Radio show there too on KDAY, man. So you followed in suit with them. So that's awesome, brother. What an amazing
and Exhibit. Exhibit is a great dude. He's hilarious, and I've had a lot of fun with him over the years. Just being with him in different cities and states. I've been in Hawaii, been all through California and Illinois, different places with Exhibit, and we just have a lot of fun. He's a hilarious dude. So
his family tree is King T too, right? With the alcoholic.
Yeah, King T, put him on. Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you questions. You pick one. Jay-Z or Nas?
Well, it depends the criteria.
Your favorite as an MC, brother? What do you?
I prefer Nas.
Okay. So I won't even ask you about Rakim or Big Daddy Kane because I already know where you're gonna go with it. What was a better diss song, Dre Day or Real Motherfucking G's?
Dre Day.
Dre Day. Okay. Foxy Brown, Little Kim, or Lady of Rage?
Man, that's a tough one. I'll put it like this. The most underrated and underappreciated of the three is Foxy Brown.
Yo, Nana, man. Badass. I love Foxy Brown. If you could make a mixtape volume 1 of your life, what would be track number 1 of Soren Baker's?
Of my life?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I mean, my favorite rap song ever is "It Takes Two" by Rob Bass and DJ AZ Rock. So I'll go with it.
Nice. What was a better soundtrack, Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society?
Man, I'd have to go with Boys in the Hood because I like not only did I like both, but I like the R&B songs on Boys in the Hood. And I think that they brought a lot of depth, not only to the soundtrack, but it works so well with the film.
Yeah.
Tony, Just Me and You, for instance. That's maybe my favorite song on the soundtrack. It's not even a rap song.
Wow.
I love that song.
How about then Baseball, right? From Main Source was on there too.
Friendly Game of Baseball, yeah.
Every single Sunday, Cam. Yeah. What's your favorite Compton's Most Wanted album?
Man, it always goes between Straight Checking 'Em and Music to Drive By, but I'd say Straight Checking 'Em because that one, I think, production-wise, it was really a step up from It's a Compton thing. And then Music to Drive By, I think, is astoundingly great, but it's more of one thing. It's very dark and very sinister, and that's the way it is through most of the album. Whereas Straight Checking 'Em, I think there's a little more sonic variance. You got I Don't Dance, and even Drive By Miss Daisy with some of the sonics and the piano and stuff is a little different.
And go ahead. Bro.
They're both it's hard to say, but I would go with Straight Checking.
Yeah, I like the first one, man. One time gaffled them up, man. That whole final chapter, and then wow, that was an amazing album for me. And I barely put 2 and 2 together. When you were doing your interview with Yella, DJ Unknown and him were working at the Penthouse.
Yeah,
he later on produced those albums, DJ Unknown, right, and Slit, right? Wow,
that's crazy.
Amazing, brother. Tell us where we could find you at, brother. Where to subscribe to and where we could get that book.
Well, for me, you can get all my social medias just at Soren Baker, at SORENBAKER. And then, of course, on my YouTube channel, if you could please go there. All that social media and on YouTube is Unique Access ENT. So that's UNIQUEACCESSENT. Unique Access Entertainment on YouTube. And then my book, The History of Gangster Reps, in stores worldwide. You can get it at, of course, Amazon, and then also Barnes & Noble and your local bookstore. If you shop independent bookstores, you can order it through there. And also, if you're around the world somewhere, if you're in Japan, we have a Japanese version. If you're in Italy, we have an Italian version. If you're in Russia, we have a Russian version, and we also have a Spanish version. So it's been translated into 4 languages at this point, 5 if you include English. And so amazing, I'm very excited about that.
You got any autographed copies that you're selling of your book?
No, but I can always sign one.
Yeah, definitely, brother. Peace, love, and light, man. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here with Duran Customz, brother. Keep up the amazing work that you're doing, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you, brother. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, well, likewise. Thank you, Duran Customz, for the support, and I, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Peace, love, and light, and we out of here. Peace. Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. And I can't wait for the next album review of the Great Debaters, brother. Hopefully later on we could do something like that together, brother. Review an album. If you come over here, if you're ever in LA, brother, let me know.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'll keep you posted. And shoot me the link when you get it, and I'll promote it.
All right. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so. Thank you. Brother. Bye. We are saluting. We are honoring one of the padrinos, one of the godfathers of Latin hip hop, the brother with 2 tongues, Mr. Mellow Man Ace. Thank you for being with Duran Customz.
The crowd goes crazy. Oh.
The legend himself, my brother. The legend himself.
What up, people? What up?
Yeah, brother. So being born in Cuba, coming to the U.S. at an early age, when did you discover hip hop? And what was it specifically about that genre of music that pulled you in, brother?
Well, I discovered hip hop, I want to say in 1979, when I first heard Rapper's Delight and These Are the Breaks.
Wow.
By Curtis Blow when I was in junior high school.
Nice.
And I always felt like, since I came from Cuba, I had to learn the customs here in the United States in order to get along with the other kids.
Yes.
And so I had to take on American customs. And so one of those was music. I always felt that salsa music was a little too colorful and too vibrant, too alive, and and the colors were just so vibrant on the outfits that they would wear and all that. So that's not for me.
Yes.
And so little by little, as I started to listen to more hip hop and saw, how the guys would dress,
yes,
and how the rhymes, the words would rhyme.
The words flowed, yes.
And the beats were just crazy different, something else. And I just gravitated to it there.
Wow. What junior high did you go to, brother?
I went to Southgate Junior High School at that time.
Nice.
I don't know if it's still the same name.
Same name.
If it's a middle school, I don't know. At that time, it was the junior high school.
It was the junior high.
On Firestone Boulevard.
All right. When did you officially become Mellow Man Ace, or did you go by any other aliases when you first started?
Well, when it came to getting a rap name, Mellow Man Ace, I was always the ace because I played baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And every team I played on, I was kind of the best pitcher, so they would call me the ace of the staff, right?
Yeah.
So it was always ace. So then when I started rhyming, one day it was one of my boys from South Central said, "That's Ace Cool," right?
Nice.
LL Cool J was a big LL Cool J fan and all that type of shit. Yeah. And he just said Ace Cool, right? So, but one night we had a mini recorder and we were tape recording a rap cipher. It was myself, Scent Dog, Be Real, Tomahawk Funk or Funk Dubious, and I think also a guy by the name of Crazy D, who was one of the only Mexicans down at that time with NWA.
NWA, right? Was that on your second album, right?
Yeah, when I did the Hypers from Cyprus.
Yes. That was a cool cipher right there, brother.
Thank you. But the idea for that song came while we were tape recording that cipher, and we were just banging a beat on the car hood. And my man Tomahawk Funk of Funk Dubious was the one who came up with. He started rapping and he was doing his flow, and he goes, and I'm chilling with my mellow man Ace.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I'm like, didn't think really nothing of it, but my mellow, okay, because at that time in hip hop, to call somebody your mellow, that meant your homeboy.
Wow.
Especially on the East Coast side of rap, right?
Yes.
And so I didn't really think nothing of it, but the next morning when we played back the tape, he goes, my mellow man Ace. I was like, mellow man Ace.
Wow.
That shit sounds pretty good.
Perfect,
yeah,
brother.
It rolls off the tongue. And at the time, a lot of rappers had three names: Cool Mo D, Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, you know, all this shit. So let's keep that Mellow Man Ace thing. Let's go with that.
And you're talking about all flowers, brother, all lyricists, like the way you are, bro, especially on Rhyme Fighter, brother. Were you the first MC to ever mention South Central LA in a rap song on that one?
I probably not.
No? And was that the first time Cypress Hill was mentioned on the song, or was it River Cubano, right? Or Rhyme Fighter?
Well, on that album, you know.
Yes.
But I think on Rhyme Fighter at the end, I'm down with Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
And driving red Testarossa. All that.
Oh man. I got that 12-inch right there, brother. Hopefully one of these days, man, I get you to sign that, man.
Oh damn, yeah, there it is.
That's dope, brother.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, and Crazy D was from HP, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of friends over there in South Central.
Yeah.
Crazy D got around, and you know, he would come over on our block on Cypress, and then he'd go over there and mess with Dre and Easy and them.
Yeah.
At the same time, so he was kind of from both crews.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, but ended up with neither crew, which is crazy.
I know, that's crazy. And he comes out on that NWA in the Posse cover, right? Him and Candyman and I believe Feel the Fresh crew and stuff.
That's right.
When you first heard that Tony G produced track Mentirosa, did you know that was going to be the one to propel you, brother? Especially with your rhymes, the way you were flowing like that, man. Being the bilingualist that you are. Yes.
No, of course not. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. And the way that song worked out was he had the beat first. He invited me to his house to listen to it. And at first I was like, I don't want to rap to that, you know. The cadence had to be really slow, but the most important part was that style that he ordered had never been done.
Yes, right? Yes, brother, yes.
Because he told me, don't come back to the studio till it's bilingual. Up to that point, I either rapped in all Spanish or all English.
Wow.
And I had never done both, like mixed, like shit had never been done.
Yeah, you were the first one, man. Damn, that's right there, brother.
So I had to create the style to go with the music.
And
I think that was the hardest part. And of course, I didn't know it was going to be the one.
Yeah.
I'm no fortune teller, you know?
Yeah. Damn. And well, that leads into the next one. Did you realize that time created that album, Escape from Havana? You were making history working with the Dust Brothers, Tony G, DJ Mutz, Def Jeff, and Johnny Rivers, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, it hit the Billboard at 200 at 69, brother, and then the Latin albums at number 7 and stuff. So,
yeah. None of us knew we were doing.
You were doing it,
you know, legendary stuff. None of us knew. I mean, we were all just a bunch of kids getting together, experimenting, putting some shit together.
Yeah,
you know, like a bunch of chemists throwing shit into a tube,
being creative,
to invent something, right?
Being creative, brother.
And that goes for the Dust Brothers too. They weren't legends yet. That goes for Tony G. He wasn't a legend yet. Maybe a legend on the street.
Yeah.
Def Jeff, you know, Dust Brothers, Mario Caldato Jr., who later went on to be the Beastie Boys guy, you know?
Yeah.
It's in the studio and whatnot. And he made everything sonically sound really good for us at that time. But none of us knew we were doing anything legendary, especially myself, because that was a very experimental record.
Yeah.
In the sense that if you listen to it, there's so many different styles on there. There's club, there's street, there's Spanish, there's English, there's bilingual, there's salsa, there's Guaguancó, there's a Guaguancó record.
And Hip Hop Creature, man, that you guys sampled.
And then you got Hip Hop Creature, and it
that was
like
dope. Tom Sawyer, dude.
Tom Sawyer, you know what I mean?
There was a couple of tracks on there that it kind of seemed you guys use rock. Which Hip Hop Creature was Tom Sawyer, right? And Rush, and then I forgot which one was it. There was another one in there that was pretty dope too, man. You know, I like it, man. I love that shit. I love hip hop, so you know what I'm saying, brother? Like, yeah, man, definitely, bro.
I appreciate that, bro. Yeah. We were experimenting, and I think we just happened to hit the lotto on that, and because I remember Rhyme Fighter was the first single off the record, and we couldn't give it away. There was a cult following, loved that record, you know.
Yeah.
With me using that nasal voice.
Yes.
That then later on Be Real would use and become real famous for, you know.
Yes, you're right, brother. You're right.
I did that first, you know.
Yeah.
So it, and then you had all those other things like B-Boy and Love, Encuentre en Amor. You know, I had love songs on there.
Yeah.
We tried to cover all the spectrums, and we wanted to make sure that we made a record that everybody can enjoy. Yeah. Even if you don't like one song, you're bound to like something else.
On there. And that was very groundbreaking at that time, especially the second album, Brothers with Two Tongues, how you start off with that slow jam, which it was kind of like that R&B, right? And then especially with Linda, man, using that Genius of Love sample, brother. That was dope, brother. Then
that was Julio G on that production, on that song. But I think my favorite joints on that one was Babalu Bad Boy and Hype is from Cyprus.
Yeah. Hype is from Cyprus, man. The one that you mentioned earlier on with Tomahawk Funk and then Crazy D, right? And Sindog.
The only one that was missing was Be Real on that one, and I don't remember now why he wasn't there. I don't remember.
That would have been dope too. You know what I'm saying? But that in itself was dope, brother. What are some of Mellow Man Ace's favorite artists, whether it be in soul, funk, hip hop, or rock, brother? What are some of your favorites?
Man, of course, Curtis Mayfield. I love Curtis Mayfield. The Isley Brothers, the Brothers Johnson. A lot of the family groups.
All right.
You know, the Jackson 5.
How about the 5 Stair Steps?
No, I wasn't into but a lot of the family groups was my thing. And so I learned there that when I got on to bring my family with me, and so Sendog was my hype man, and my 2 sisters were my backup dancers, and the girl who played Mentirosa in the video was my little sister.
Wow.
So
I never knew that.
Damn, it was. You know, you had Sister Sledge, you had the Jets, a lot of family groups, you know, the Isley Brothers. Those were groups that, you know,
so that's why it meant a lot to you, and that's why you did that. You incorporated them in earlier on.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see old footage, you know, vintage, classic, whatever you want to call it, footage, like on the Arsenio Hall show. It's Sendog, myself, my 2 sisters, and Julio G.
Wow.
You know, and that to me means a lot, man. It meant a lot. And so even to this day, my son has been my DJ for the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Is he also doing some of your production on your albums and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dope, Talk to us about your ventures into creating your own wine, Havana Wines, brother.
Oh man, that was and is probably one of the hardest endeavors I ever embarked on, you know what I mean? Because when you're doing something that can, you know, possibly have the possibility of being or becoming like a Fortune 500 company, you know, it's a bigger deal and it takes a lot of finances.
Yes.
So I just got creative with my finances and I moved some things around. I was able to move some things around.
Yes.
And put it together. I tasted all the blends before actually bottling them, you know, making sure that I got the flavors that I like for me, because a lot of people don't know that in 2017 I had a heart attack, right? And so my doctor said, you should, you know, if you're gonna drink from now on, it should be wine, like, and I said, damn, no more, you know, Patron Silver, you know, tequila, fucking rum.
I'm glad you're telling me that, brother. I'm not gonna drink tequila no more, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start drinking some wine, brother.
And so, yeah, that's why I went and finally, you know, during COVID, even there were some people who were still working and willing to work.
Yes.
And we were able to put the blends together, and a lot of trips back and forth to Napa Valley and things of that nature that took place.
Yes.
And, you know, and like I said, hardworking people who were still willing to work with the pandemic.
Yes.
And lo and behold, here we are, Havana Wines, you know.
Absolutely.
For those who want to buy it, check out our website, havanawines.co.
Okay.
And see what you think, you know.
Yeah, definitely, brother. Should count me in that, man.
And we still don't have a major distribution deal, so we're still in that process. That's one of the hardest processes. You know, I'm not an A-list rapper by any means. You know what I mean? I'm not Snoop Dogg. I'm not Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a high C-lister.
Yeah.
A high C-lister. You know what I mean? If anything, but it's kind of like a popularity contest with those things.
Yeah.
You know, like my man E40. Congrats to him on his thing.
Yes.
And Snoop on his thing, but you know, those guys are kind of A-list dudes, so companies flock to them like heavy. Now, the other thing with me is, since I always pump the Latino thing, a lot of brands think that there's no strength in that Latino buck, in that Latino dollar. Yeah. And I keep trying to, in board meetings, trying to explain to these people how Latinos are the number one consumer. What are you talking about?
Yeah, definitely, brother.
And they don't believe me.
The links on your Facebook, right, to order those wines and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I find myself doing the same thing I had to do with the hip hop thing, was get in people's faces and go, the Latino dollar is viable.
Yes.
Listen to this. Listen to what I'm telling you. Like I did that back then with the music and bilingual rap. Yes. I find myself having to do it again with the wine.
Yeah, because we're one of the biggest, people that, purchase items, man, and support hip hop. We don't ever get included in that, even as just being fans, man. Downloading or buying the majority of the CDs back in the days, we get left out of shit, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like
that part.
Yeah, man, definitely. How was the transition from rocking the mic to now hosting your own podcast, man? Havana Lounge, brother.
That's another thing I'm having a lot of fun with. I mean, Be Real told me to do it a long time ago, and I just didn't listen to him.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, he grew his platform amazingly, and you have Be Real TV, and it's amazing how many shows he has and all these things. And so I finally, during COVID, I said, man, I'm gonna go ahead. I have a lot of downtime. Either I was on the golf course a lot or not doing much because there were no concerts at the time.
Yeah.
So I said, let me get it together. Got together with my man and them, and we planned out a structure. My business partner, my man Brett, and everybody that came on board.
Yeah.
Like the idea of a hip hop, wine, and cigar show with interviews.
Dope. That's dope, brother.
And that's what I'm about. Cigars.
Yeah. That's all you, brother. Right there,
Since Escape from Havana, I had them like right here in my pocket. So it's a cigar and wine and hip hop show, and I get to bring on like for instance, last night I got to interview a childhood hero of mine for my next week's show, the Boston Red Sox great legend Luis Tiant.
Wow,
and
man.
I mean, I'm like, Yo, if somebody told me,
you're a big baseball fan, man, right?
I'm a big baseball head, man. Come on. So I'm having a lot of fun with it, man. Now that we put it together, I just need people to come over there and show us some love so we can get more traction and more traction. I need the support of the people.
Definitely,
at Mellow Man Ace TV. That's the name of my YouTube channel.
Yes.
Mellow Man Ace TV. Come over there every Thursday night at 7 p.m.
Definitely,
and push like, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
and I'll share
subscribe.
it whenever you have. Whenever I see it there, I'll share it. And I'll share it on my page on Facebook, Hood Music and stuff, brother. But I saw that you had interviewed Joe Baton, brother. Who has been your favorite interview so far, and why?
Man, that's a great question. Let me see.
You've had so many, brother.
I would have to say.
Is it the one you did last night?
No. Well, we haven't seen it yet. It's being edited now, but I would have to say Tito Puente Jr. was a really great interview because he's so animated, and you know, he like the Tupac of salsa music. You know what I mean?
All right.
He's just over the top animated. Another great one was Juana of JJ Fad.
Oh, nice.
She was a great interview. She was a really good interview. If you see that show, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah. I've been wanting to interview. I didn't realize that before they were signed to Ruthless. I have a record of Supersonic. They were signed to Rudy Pardee's label because my vinyl don't even say Ruthless. It says Rudy Pardee's record label. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Rudy Pardee. Absolutely. I mean, I play a lot of golf with Arabian Prince.
Oh,
who produced the record. He produced that song.
Yeah.
So he tells us all the time, like, you know, yo, this, that, and the third. And, you know, I did that. And then we were left over in the studio. I had a little bit of time, whipped out the drum machine, tapped it out, you know, and then he tells us a lot of the backstory on that. So Juana was a great interview. Another one I would have to say was Daz Dillinger.
Oh yeah,
the Dog Pound. Daz,
that was dope.
Daz really elaborated, you know what I mean, and he just had a good time smoking a lot of weed and made everything really loose on the set that day.
Man, one of the greatest producers, man, of our era, man. Daz Dillinger, right there, brother.
Yeah, he did a lot at the Death Row years, you know, and a lot that he doesn't get a lot of credit for, and he's not bitter.
No.
And as a matter of fact, he said on the show that he wouldn't change a thing about his life. All the bullshit they went through over there, all the hard knocks with, you know, Suge Knight and all them.
Yeah.
That he wouldn't change a thing. So he had no regrets.
Damn, he's badass, brother. You were speaking earlier about Arabian Prince, man, and I didn't realize that he used to work with Bobby Jimmy and the Critters, brother. He would do the music for them and stuff, huh?
Yeah, after he left NWA, absolutely. Yeah.
Is there anyone past or present you would love to work with musically or interview, brother? You know, of all time, let's say even dead or alive, brother.
Of course, man. I mean, I've been trying to get Chuck D, a Public Enemy, on the show for a minute now, and things just don't add up or line up, I should say.
Yes.
Also, I'd love to interview David Justice of the Atlanta Braves.
Wow.
I had Brian Hunter of the Atlanta Braves on, and he was teammates with, you know, Deion Sanders, David Justice, and all those guys like Smoltz, Glavin,
man,
Avery, and all them dudes.
I was gonna say, yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, remember, I get to interview guys that some of these guys are in my Rolodex, right?
Yeah.
And then some other guys come to me via somebody else who loves what I'm doing. Yeah. Because we talk a little bit of sports. Yeah. And I talk golf on the show a little bit. Between the cigars and the wines and the interviews, so somebody might watch it and go, "Hey, man, I'm friends with Adrian Beltre or Fernando Valenzuela," you know, and I'll be like, "All right, well, see if they want to come on the show. I'd love to have them. Like, coming in December, I'll have Daryl Thomas. He used to play for the Dodgers on the show, and that'll be a big deal for me because when I was a little kid, I remember him teaching me at Southgate Park. He came, you know, the Dodgers would do a little thing where they'd go to travel to the parks, and teach the kids fundamentals.
That's dope, man.
And Daryl Thomas did that one year at Southgate Park.
And you were a pitcher, right? As a kid.
And I was a pitcher, so him and Mike Sosha, one year they came and they taught me some things. And they said if I keep playing, I was going to be good. So being able to bring that up to Daryl Thomas now is going to be a great pleasure and a definite honor.
I never played any sports when I was a kid, man, but maybe like 10 years ago when my job, we played softball at the one of these fields right here, man, that have all the replica fields and stuff like that. I played a whole season though, man. But for me, that was cool, man. You know what I'm saying? It's badass. In the late 80s, how was it out there in Southgate growing up? Because I grew up in HP till about 10 years old. And I could remember, man, like the carnivals at Salt Lake Park and stuff like that. It was off the chain, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, at that time, we lived
different
on Cypress Hill is about less than a mile from South Central Alameda Street.
Yes.
Right? Alameda was what broke up Watts and Southgate. So once you come across Alameda, if you're coming from South Central, your last city is going to be Watts.
Yes.
You cross train tracks, you're right in Southgate. So at that time in the 80s, there was a lot of shoot 'em up, bang, bang. The Bloods and the Crips was heavy. Bodies all over the place. And I remember, one of the most difficult things for us, since we weren't gangsters, was how do we go see Run DMC and the Fat Boys, Salt and Pepper and Houdini, without getting shot?
Yeah.
How do we hip hop without getting shot?
Yeah. How do we maneuver through it?
How do we maneuver, right? So what it was, we would dress like we was from New York, and they'd leave us alone. Like we never got hit up like, yo, where y'all niggas from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we were always all b-boy minded and b-boyed out.
Yeah.
We had the bomber jackets with the Lee jeans, the Adidas with no shoestrings.
Damn.
So we had to come in there like that to avoid the Crip blood shootouts at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I remember the most out of the 80s. You know what I mean? Like trying to hip hop without getting killed.
Yeah. Were you an Adidas shell top guy or a Puma guy?
Adidas. Yeah.
So in '89, when your first album came out, brother, a lot of albums dropped that year. DLC, De La Soul, EPMD. Do you remember the atmosphere back then in the industry, brother? And is that why you took that lyrical approach on your album, especially like Rhyme Fighter? You know what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my thing was to cover as many bases as possible because LL Cool J taught us you got to have a love ballad. Guys like De La Soul taught you had to have some funky beats. Guys like Public Enemy taught you got to come hard. There were so many different realms, and then we wanted to introduce our Spanish shit. Our bilingual shit. So that was the lane that we were trying to create.
Well-rounded.
Right. But we had to follow some guidelines too,
Yes.
And sprinkling the rest of the record with all that other stuff, yet hitting you with some Wawanko rhythms, some Afro-Cuban rhythms.
Yeah.
Like that, at the same time.
That's dope, brother. What is Mellow Mayonnaise listening to nowadays? Any recommendations?
Real talk, man. I listen to the Isley Brothers. I love that Go For Your Guns album.
Nice.
That stays in rotation in my car. I'm just listening to a lot of old school stuff, classic material, whether it's hip hop, funk, and stuff like that. And now since I'm learning percussion, how to play congas, timbales, and bongos, I'm listening to a little bit more of Latin music, percussion based music, Mongo Santa Maria, people like that, Tito Puente, people like Willie Bobo, stuff like that.
Oh, that's dope, brother. Any new projects you working on right now?
Yeah, I got a new single coming out. I got 2 singles coming out. One with Frankie J on his album, the R&B singer Frankie J.
Yeah.
That song is called Pretty Brown Eyes. That's coming out November 19th.
All right. Dope,
check that out.
Yeah.
Download that, get that on Spotify and all that Apple Music.
Yeah,
and then one of my own things, my own single, I got one coming out called Walk Talk, where I introduced this young cat named Young Quicks, and that's coming out November 26th.
Is that the one that you were sharing on the Facebook the other day? Like,
yeah,
man, dude, I thought that was a movie. I said, man, this guy's doing a movie right now, bro.
I definitely wanted to make a mini movie when you saw this thing. And I wanted it to have like a 1980s, 1990, Gambino.
Yeah.
That
thing looked dope, brother.
Lucchese type feel.
Yeah.
Where it's more, mobster based.
Yeah.
I wanted it to have a real, Italian goombada, a goombada feel, you know what I mean? And I think we stuck the landing on it.
Yeah, dude, definitely. I can't wait till that drops. How do you feel that music has changed throughout the years, and what do you feel it's missing or lacking, brother?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's obvious now, it's obvious now that music has changed drastically, and
yes.
You just have to search and scour the internet to see what you like, because there's a fan for everybody. So I'm not gonna knock anybody, but I'm just gonna say, like, if you're a fan, just look a little deeper, because you're not gonna hear your favorite.
Yeah,
you're not gonna hear your favorite shit on popular radio. It's just not gonna happen.
Times have changed, brother.
Unless you tune into the old school station in your city, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's where you get that. But for the most part, music has changed drastically, and so you have to dig a little deeper.
Yeah. From Escape from Havana, Brothers with Two Tongues, From Darkness to Light, Vengo a Cobrar, Latin Alliance Project, man, Ghetto Therapy, the Reyes Brothers, and I could go on, brother. Which one is your favorite project throughout those years?
Shit, I had to say Escape from Havana because that's the one that put me on.
That's the one that set it off, brother.
It's the one that set it off, man. I had fun with all the other things, but if it wasn't for Escape from Havana and doing the groundbreaking stuff that we did at a younger age, taking risks, leaving it all out on the playing field, and just going for broke on that album is like why we're here, why we're even talking.
Yes, brother. Definitely, brother. History, brother. Legendary. Brother, I'm gonna we're getting down to the last. I'm gonna name some artists and you just pick one of whatever it is,
Okay.
Braden Wood, Joe Bataan, or Rafi Pagan?
I'm gonna say my man Joe Bataan.
Okay. Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I'm gonna say Steven Seagal every time. He used some of my music in some of his music in some of his movies.
Yes.
So that's my guy. That's my guy.
War, Santana, or Mellow?
Now that's a tough one right there because I love so much war music and I practice my conga playing.
Yes.
To war, but I kind of made a living sampling off Santana. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to stick. I'm gonna have to say Santana, man.
Okay. The movie Warriors or Boulevard Nights?
I'm gonna have to say Warriors.
That was the first one, right?
I'm gonna have to say Warriors. It was just so colorful. Yeah. Shit they did, how they were dressed and all that. It's just such a cult classic. Yeah. You gotta say Warriors, man. Now, if you would have said Warriors or Beach Street, I would have went Beach Street.
Man, I just watched Beach Street yesterday, brother.
Nah, for real?
Yeah, definitely.
Attaboy, yeah.
Brother, let's do a baseball one. Bo Jackson playing football or baseball? What was he better at?
Football, big time. Yeah, you get trucked by Bo Jackson playing football. I would have to say he was a better football player than he was a baseball player.
How about Bo Jackson or Barry Sanders? Football.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, he didn't have the front line. He didn't have the front line, man.
Still made it happen.
Yeah. Deion Sanders as a baseball player or a football player?
Deion as a football player. Electric.
Yes. If you could make a mixtape of your life, what would be track number 1? Mellow Manace's mixtape of his life.
Does it have to be my music?
No, whatever you want, man. Your favorite artist?
I guess I would open up with something like Curtis Mayfield. Keep on. What is it called? Move on up.
Move on up.
Move on up. Curtis Mayfield, man.
Dope, brother.
That's how my shit would start out.
Yeah. That's dope, brother.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so. Where could we find you at, brother? Where could we find you at?
Man, Instagram, of course, on the gram, Mellow_man_ace. On Facebook, the Mellow Man Ace. On Twitter, the Mellow Man Ace. Okay. And on YouTube, Mellow Man Ace TV.
And then your show comes out every Thursday or every Wednesday?
Every Thursday at 7 p.m. We are live on the air. And we're there without fail. So come on over there, check us out, and enjoy what you see.
And how about the wines, brother?
Yeah, like I said before, the wines, go visit our website, HavanaWines.co, and
are you gonna be making your own brand of cigars?
That's been in the works for a long time now, and I finally got somebody out of Tampa, Florida, with the right blends that I like, and we're in the part right now. We're at the stage where we're getting the label right,
wow.
Like what my label should look like,
yes.
And so,
that's gonna
and
be
then
dope.
I'm gonna have to just dump a shit ton of money into it.
Damn, brother, man, the future is very bright for you, brother. The future is very bright for you, brother. I can't wait to see.
I just don't sit down. It is bright because I don't sit down and I refuse to lose. And so even as in business, sometimes some things don't pan out, and certain things don't work, like relationships, right?
Yeah.
Or there could be a business venture that just takes a dive and you never recuperate from it.
Yeah.
We hope that that's never the case, but we never enter a situation where we feel we're going to lose, I might learn a lot along the way.
You got a great story, man. You got a great story, man. You should do your autobiography too, brother.
We got that about 85% done too, but I'm holding back, man. I'm finishing it up because I feel like
you got so much left.
It's not over. It's not over yet.
Yeah,
it's not over, man. Brother. And a book always symbolizes like, okay, it's over. Like, I always, when I get a book, I'm like, okay, it's over for this guy. So he's writing about it now,
Man.
Unless you're Will Smith, Unless you're Will Smith, So man. I'm no Will Smith.
Thank you so much, man, for taking your time to stop by Duran Customz, man. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. We salute you. We honor you, man. Peace,
appreciate
love, and
you,
light.
man.
And I'm out of here, brother. Peace.
Thank you for the light, brother.
Thank you, brother. Take care, man. I'll be in touch, bro. Peace.
Peace and love. Absolutely.
Duran Customz interview numero 16. We are saluting, we are honoring Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, one of the members of the world's most dangerous group, NWA, author of his autobiography, Straight Outta Compton, My Untold Story, Mr. DJ Yella. Thank you for being here with Duran Customz, my brother. Thank you so much.
How you doing?
Good. Mr. Yella, you had a historic career. What was it earlier on that propelled you towards music early in life, my brother?
Nothing really. I mean, I never dreamed about it or anything like that. It just
happened.
It just like came naturally for some reason. Yeah.
Wow. Who are some of DJ Yella's favorite groups or artists, whether it be in rock, soul, funk, or hip hop itself, my brother? Who does DJ Yella have on his playlist?
I mean, well, back then or now?
All time, brother. Yeah, back then. Let's say back then.
Yeah, back then, it wasn't really separate stations back then. Back then, one station played rock, then it'll play R&B, it'll play funk. You know, it just played different
little bit
stuff.
of everything, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, I kind of got used to all the music, you know, from George Clinton, you know, Bootsy and them, all that funk, Rick James.
I mean,
even the rock and rollers had hits that crossed over.
Oh, yeah.
Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah.
All kind of people.
Stones, Led Zeppelin.
So I kind of grew up in the era that all the music was. It wasn't just that little hip hop area or nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Hip hop wasn't even there.
So let me ask you a question. Well, I already know the answer, but let me ask it for the people that are watching. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Prince. All day long.
All day long, brother. Shoot. Little red Corvette, man. Shoot.
I even had a long version, 12-inch of it.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before, but that one time.
That one time? You still got it?
Nah, all that stuff is gone.
Dude, Prince, Raspberry Beret, all that stuff, dude. That he's on.
Until we got into the later albums. After that, I was, you know.
Yeah.
But the older stuff, because he was talented. I mean, he played everything.
By far, man.
Oh yeah.
By far, dude. They playing the guitar, everything.
Yeah.
And then as far as DJing, when did you know that this was what you wanted to do? And then how long did it take you to master that craft? You know, I got into like 50 pages of your book. I know. Was it that one time you DJ'd for your brother? I believe it was that, right?
Nah, that wasn't it either.
No?
I did it for my brother. Then I did it one time in high school.
Yes.
And then that kind of went away. It wasn't like, DJing wasn't nothing back then. It wasn't even really called DJing. Not back then. But then it was just once I, for some reason, maybe a couple of years, maybe 82, somewhere around there, 81, when I started DJing, it just, I just DJ. You know, it wasn't like, oh, that's what I want to do. Nah, it never was like that.
It just came natural to you, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you know what I kind of come across is that people that play the drums, it comes natural to them to flow into like either music or DJing or producing and things like that. I kind of noticed that. You mentioned your prom, you DJ there, man, and getting
not the prom, the senior year. I think it was graduation party or something. But when I talk about DJ, it was just one turntable.
Yeah, one
put a song on and then put another song on. Yeah. So that wasn't really DJing to me.
Yeah. How many proms have you been to? Because getting into your
I did 5 proms.
5 proms. Wow,
5
man.
Proms. Oh yeah. I did one my junior year, then I did my senior year, then I did 2 more the next year, and then one like 2 years after that.
Wow, legendary.
For some reason, you know, people I like wearing the tuxedo. So
that's dope, man. That's dope. Legendary, my brother. And then as far as the formation of the Wrecking Crew or you becoming a member, how did that come about and what year was that more or less?
It had to be 81, somewhere around 81 when I first came around there, you know, and started DJing. You know, that was like a couple of years before Dre was even around. So
that was Unknown, right?
Yeah. Unknown was there before me.
Wow.
And, you know, the Wrecking Crew, that's what it was. It was just a DJ crew.
Yeah.
That's what they was called, the Wrecking Crew. So
wow.
We just DJ'd and
then Unknown would go on to do stuff with CMW, Compton's Most Wanted, correct? And then that was a great album too, man. Their first album. And I always say this to myself or to my peers that enjoy hip hop: how much talent did Compton have, man? You guys had Compton's Most Wanted. You guys had you guys.
Yeah.
You guys had AMG, DJ Quick.
All kind. It was all kind. Toddy T.
Mixmaster
Spade.
Mixmaster Spade.
Yeah. I mean, that was the early days, but it was still from Compton. So
man, I love I mean,
it's just like a lot of places got talent. It just was bottled up and you know,
wow,
it came out.
Man. And
we kind of started it to come out. So
yes, my bro. What was the first official track that you and Dr. Dre worked on in the Wrecking Crew? Was it Surgery? Turn Off the Lights? The Fly that I just listened to, man, that was the jam. I remember that back in HP because I grew up in HP till about 10 years old, and that was the jam, man, back at the carnivals and all that. Or was it Slice with Clientele?
But that wasn't with Dre. That was me and Clientele.
That was you and Slice was, right?
Yeah, that was the first song ever made.
Yes, yes.
That was the first one.
What year was that, more or less?
That had to be 83, maybe?
83, right?
I think it's somewhere in 83. And then just a month or two or less, then Dre's surgery. Dre did surgery. So
wow.
Oh yeah. So them was the official songs that started all this stuff.
Wow. Back then, you're talking about those early days when you're DJing, you're mixing either at the Eve After Dark or the Penthouse. Mm-hmm. What music would you mostly purchase for your mixes? Was it freestyle, disco, electro, funk?
No, it was. I think it was more. It was rap, mostly rap, but it was electro. Back then, Soul Sonic Force, Kraftwerk, all that. So we have a mixture of Genius of Love,
Egyptian Lover, all that. It was
a mixture.
Yes.
It was a mixture, definitely. In the older days, like the earlier days before Dre came around, we used to play the B-52s.
Oh, yeah, dude.
We used to play all that.
I love all that, dude. I love all that.
That's when the mod was in back then.
What era for you, this ain't even on my question list, but I'm going to ask it anyways, is the better music all around? Was it 80s or 90s for you?
I would say 80s.
80s, definitely. Yeah. Well-rounded. A little bit of everything, right? You got Rod, you got Prince, you got Michael Jackson.
Everything.
Everything. The Gap Band, all that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 80s, definitely. 70s, late 70s, so it's all...
intermingles, man.
90s was more hip-hop.
Hip-hop. Yeah. Pure hip-hop, right? The
80s
whole night.
was everything.
Yeah. Do you have any funny DJ stories that stand out to you from those early days with the Wrecking Crew?
That's probably
besides the frills and thrills.
It had to be. It's quite a bit of stuff. We just did so much,
and it was all for fun, right?
Yeah, the pay was very little, so
yes.
But it was the love of DJing, I guess. It was
the music, huh?
Yeah, it was different.
Yeah,
it was way more fun during the Wrecking Crew days than the Ruthless days, to me.
Okay.
Because the Wrecking Crew, that was when the beginning, I felt more like a star in the Wrecking Crew because I was DJing.
Wow.
Every weekend, Friday and Saturday, every weekend.
Yeah.
All kind of just
fun stuff.
Crazy stuff. It's so much.
The early days, right?
Yeah.
The early days.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever enter any DJ battles at that time earlier on?
Nah. Never. Nah. I was like a DJ club, so I didn't have to go out and do all that stuff.
And do all that stuff.
Yeah. Right? But back then it really wasn't back then. Maybe in the 90s or maybe on the East Coast, but not out here. There wasn't no DJ battles. There wasn't none of that kind of stuff. Not in them early days.
Yeah. And then what was Unknown ever a part of the Wrecking Crew? Because I know you started off with him earlier on and stuff, right?
Music wise, no.
He was there.
It was weird. We DJ'd all that time. Then when it came down to music, when Dre came, Dre kind of replaced that.
Yeah.
Replaced him. Not really replaced him, but me and Dre started,
You think he was a little bit more younger and hungrier, more creative in that manner to say, hey, let's start something new. Let's start pushing the boundaries of creativity in that fashion?
Know. It's just me and Unknown had our era, our time.
Yes.
And then when Dre came, we had our time.
Yes.
So that's really what it was. I didn't I'm gonna go with that was that time and that was that time.
Wow. It served its purpose, leading you up, building you up to where you needed to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because that wasn't my future there. My future was somewhere else.
Yes.
So I just had to go through that road. And then when I got to the end of the train track, I had to get on the next train, which was Ruthless. So
definitely, brother. I hear you in that. And then NWA and a Posse, that album cover had Crazy D, Candyman, Arabian Prince, and the Fila Fresh crew on that.
Yeah.
Was that out prior or after Easy's Easy Does It?
Oh, it was before that album. It was Boys in the Hood. It was kind of because the NWA and Posse was just a compilation.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't an NWA album. It was just a compilation.
Yeah.
But what happened when we was in between albums, that's when Ruthless Priority got that album, put it out like we had just did that album.
Yeah.
That was just it had to be in the days around Boys in the Hood, 8 Ball. It had to be in them days.
So what time span, what year would you put those songs? Those were like singles that were getting put out by you guys, right?
Yeah. It had to be 87, 86.
87? Yeah.
86.
Because that one had like LA is the Place, all that,
had
right?
The earlier
Freak It Up Baby by the Fila Fresh Crew.
Yeah,
which is the DLC
more
and
the
all
earlier stuff. That was kind of
which was all cool stuff, man. Dude, I'm always bumping that LA is the Place. I like that, dude. Especially later on the Straight Outta Compton, for me, like something to dance to and all that. I love that. For me, that I'm old school though, like that. You know, on YouTube, I came across, and I didn't know this, was Bobby Jimmy and the Critters signed to Ruthless Records? That New York, LA rappers, it had the label of Ruthless Records on there.
Did it really? Ooh.
And I believe Arabian Prince was part of that too at one time.
Arabian was with Bobby Jimmy.
Yes,
definitely. He was making the music for them. So
yes,
I didn't know. Was it? It might have been the one song or something.
Yeah. I believe it was that one song. New York rappers, song. LA rappers.
Yeah.
Because wasn't Bobby Jimmy? Wasn't he like a radio host?
He was a radio DJ,
right? Yeah.
On K-Day. Yeah.
Yes, on K-Day. You're
Russ
right,
Parr, that's his name.
Yes.
Russ Parr.
1580 AM KDAY. You guys were there, right? Earlier on, you guys would do the
mixes, the traffic
mixes,
jam.
right?
Oh yeah.
Very early on, you and Dre. That was prior to you guys doing the Rhodium mixtapes too, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So you guys were all part of that.
We did. We was first at all that stuff.
And the NWA in the early days, let's say making those that Straight Outta Compton album, who was NWA listening to? Who was on constant rotation for NWA? The guys back then making that album. Who were you guys? Listening. I don't want to say inspired because you guys were doing the inspiring. I want to say, who did you guys listen to? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I mean, it had to be the George Clintons and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The funk. It had to been the funk back then.
Yeah. Were you guys listening to like EPMD though? Stuff like that was out at that time. Big Daddy Kane, Rakim.
We was just doing our own style, our own thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course we listened to the Run DMC, Houdini, and all that.
Oh, Houdini! Wow.
Oh yeah. I mean, all that from that Rakim, Eric B, all that stuff. So.
Wow, awesome, brother, awesome, man. So, how was it like creating that historic and classic album, Straight Outta Compton? What was your favorite track on that?
My favorite track was Compton in the House. I don't know why. It was one of the older ones. We did the remix for the album.
Yes.
But that was my favorite. I don't know why.
That's kind of like a Run DMC style, flowing back and forth, Dre and Ren, right?
Yeah, that was a more older style.
Yeah, that was dope.
When they rap it together, then they go back and forth. Oh, yeah.
And then there was one, too, right? I believe on Easy Does It album, Easy's first album was Two Hard Brothers.
Yeah.
And you played the drums on that, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, I played the drums on that one, yeah.
What was it what do you think that made that first NWA album so great and historic? Was it the creativity, production-wise, or was it the message, gangster, reality rap, or all of that put together, that rawness? What do you think it was, looking back?
I think it was just different from everybody that was out. All the Run DMCs, all the LA, we were just totally different. Totally different sound, and we talked about a different subject.
Yes.
They talked about, happy stuff or whatever they talked about. Yes. We talked about when we open our front door, that's what we talked about, the streets.
Yes.
And thing about it, them streets are all over the world. Yes. Every city has a ghetto somewhere.
Wow.
And the people in the ghetto can relate. But then it started crossing over and the suburbs started hearing it. That's what just took it off. But it was just, I guess, because we was different, that we were so different from everybody.
Yeah,
it was raw.
Yeah, raw and uncut, man.
Oh yeah,
you guys weren't afraid to push that boundary.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about the places you have traveled to, and the people know the music all over the world.
Well, I traveled more. I traveled now DJing more than NWA did shows.
Wow.
I travel all the world. I done been around the world. So NWA only been to London one time.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but as I DJ now days, but not since the pandemic, just too much going on. But I DJed from Korea to Vietnam to Bali, Sri Lanka, Australia, London, Europe. I mean, all over Europe.
That's amazing, man.
Helsinki, all kind of places. But when I DJ, I only play late 80s and early 90s.
Wow.
That's all I play. And around the world, like our old hip hop.
Yes.
They love our old hip hop for some reason.
And they know the music, they knew by the words and everything, or
you're playing like in Vietnam. You couldn't have a conversation because they don't speak English. You put the song on, they can sing the song.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's crazy. And ever since the movie and all that, the social media. Think about it. We didn't have social media back then.
I know.
So we had to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
Now it's like all around the world instantly. And people just, it's crazy. It's like a whole new era now. And a whole new generation.
Yeah. And I think you hit it right on point. It's that late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
It was just awesome, man. And I think it holds, something sentimental for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That those songs.
Because that was the golden music
era. Yeah.
In that right there.
The golden era of music.
I mean, it was
especially for.
Because think about this. It wasn't too many groups. And when you hear a group or just hear the music, you know where that camp was.
Yes.
You know it was from this camp, you knew where it came from.
And it brings back a lot of feelings, and it almost takes you back in time to that special time that, man, I remember this,
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's awesome, brother. Eazy-E's Love for Them Gangsters, Beverly Hills Cop 3. Is that the only song that didn't come out on Ruthless Records for Eazy-E? Because that was MCA Records there.
I guess. I don't think it wasn't on. Was it on anything else, or
I believe it was on MCA.
Just on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
didn't even know it was on the soundtrack.
No, you didn't know that. That was a pretty cool one, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't.
Yeah.
He did a couple of songs that wasn't around Ruthless or through other people.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't keep up with him. I don't know what he's doing.
How was Eazy, man, as a person, man? How was he?
Oh, he was a cool person. I mean, a person that loved kids. He loved kids.
Wow.
I mean, helping kids, whatever, that's just his thing. People think he was a nice guy.
Why do you think he's so iconic and people love him so much that even after so many years,
I guess it's just a look. He had the look, he had the sound.
Everything,
the lyrics that was wrote for him was just right on time.
Perfect for him.
It just was perfect, yeah. Because he wasn't a natural rapper. So he could never battle anybody. Nah.
No.
But it was just perfect for him.
Yeah, his demeanor, his swag was authentic.
Oh yeah,
like anybody else, he was a superstar right away. You could tell just by the way he carried himself.
Yeah,
and truly humble, just like yourself. It seemed like
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah.
I know that even.
I mean, all of us was like that. All of us, we wasn't like big headed and nah.
Wow.
We didn't care about all that stuff.
That's
all that Hollywood stuff. Nah.
Yeah. That's cool to. That's cool to hear, man.
Oh yeah.
Because coming from a fan standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
Was the Love of Money from Bone Thugs and Harmony one of your biggest song you produced outside of NWA? Correct, right?
Yeah, it had to be. Yeah.
And how did that make you feel, you and Eazy, when you guys hit that lick right there and be like, man, dude, this is it?
You know what's so crazy? I do shows now with his son, Little E,
Yes.
And it's like the same thing all over again. You know, I performed with his daddy.
Wow.
Now I'm performing with the son, which is crazy.
Wow. Hey, are you the first artist to ever do that in hip hop history?
I don't, you know, I don't know. I never thought
you might be. You might be, right?
Yeah, I never thought of it, but yeah,
wow, I'm getting the chills right now. I'm getting the chills right now telling you that. Wow. Which album is your favorite? Straight Outta Compton, 100 Miles and Running, as far as NWA, or is it the Brothers for Life? For me, that Brothers for Life album is the best one. It had Always Into Something, I'd Rather F You, Automobile, Appetite for Destruction.
I think the hit was Straight Outta Compton because it was new. It was it's hard to top.
Groundbreaking.
It's hard to top that song.
Yes.
The last album was better album than the first one. Way better. Production, music, song, everything. But the first one is just hard to beat the first one.
Yeah.
I like the last one. A lot of the songs on there.
Yes.
And I like the first one. I like E's album too.
Oh yeah, dude.
So it's you know, it's
I love it.
And the thing about it, I was telling the people when we was at the Hall of Fame getting our award,
yes,
we only had 2 albums. That's all it was. It was only 2 albums.
Yeah.
And the 100 Miles was the
EP. Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That NWA and the Posse was a compilation.
Yeah. And you know what? You guys were like the Beatles of our time, of my time. At least the biggest group
kind of
for me.
Hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop wise, you guys are like that, you know. And you know, Eazy-E's, he had 2 NWA's EP was 100 Miles and Running. Eazy-E had 2 EPs, right?
Yeah, I didn't have nothing to do with them.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, because that was my next question.
No, I did make a couple of songs on his last EP.
Yeah, you did. Right?
It's on EP.
Yes.
Yeah, I made a couple of songs. I forgot. I made a couple of songs.
Give me that nut, right, or something. Was it that one?
I forgot the name, but it's 2 of them on there with Ren.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one to Ren, and then I produced most of the song on his last album.
Okay, yeah. You put together that last one, right? That 5150 though.
Yeah, I didn't have nothing to do with the 5150.
You didn't do any production on that one? And I know at that time Eazy-E had cameos on Down with the King with Run DMC and Hip Hop Parade, Naughty by Nature's videos, right? I know he had 2 cameos around that time. Yeah.
Now that I don't know, because I didn't watch videos. So.
Oh no! Wow,
you teaching me something.
Definitely, brother. Definitely. Well, after the passing of Eazy-E, you guys you helped put together that last Straight Off the Streets of motherfucking Compton, right?
Yeah, because I produced 7 or 8 of the tracks on there. I think. Yeah, I produced them.
Okay.
I put it together, and I had it in the studio.
Was that originally supposed to be a double album, the first double album in hip hop?
I
heard that. I don't know if that's true.
He was talking about it, but it never happened. It never. That album was all the songs that was left. That was it on that album. And there was one other song that never came out. It's a diss song, but I never released it because it never had words on it. So
wow.
It's just in the vault somewhere, and that's it.
Okay.
And it's a reggae style song, but it don't have no lyrics on it. So
okay. And that was meant for Eazy?
Yeah, it was his song.
Okay.
Definitely. It was gonna be a diss song.
Wow.
But we did the reggae parts and the breaks, but that's it. His words never got to it.
Wow. That I would still like to hear that. Maybe with Eazy Son on there or something. You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be cool. Is there any unreleased NWA stuff out there?
Nah.
In the vault?
Because we didn't make demos. When we did all the songs you hear was done in the studio. Not we made demos and then went and redid them. No. All of it was made right in the studio.
Wow. Raw and uncut. Whatever you guys made, you guys put out. Huh?
Yeah, so it wasn't a bunch of tracks laying around.
Wow. And then after Eazy passed, you put out your solo album, One More Brother to Go, for the love of, for the E. With Cocaine, and then BG Knockout and other right. I love For the E, and I also love Send For Me, man.
Oh, yeah.
That was a dope one. A remake of that old jam, right? How was it like working with BG Knockout and Drake's there, man?
I mean, it was cool because, you know, I worked. They was on Eazy's last album too. You know, I did. So I worked with them. They was the new guys for Ruthless. They wasn't the real Ruthless. They were just the new Ruthless. You know, after Dre, once Dre was gone, then Ruthless was the new Ruthless. Except Bone, they kind of got a part of the old Ruthless because they was like us, different.
Yeah, different. Well, unique. Everybody on there was unique. When you talk about Above the Law, you know, all their catalog. Then you got the DOC at that time, man. Which for me, I always hold that No One Could Do It Better album in high regard, because if he didn't injure his voice,
he was gonna be the next solo artist.
The landscape of hip hop wouldn't have been, West Coast hip hop wouldn't have been the same if he would have never gotten injured, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the way he would control his vocals and play with his voice.
You can hear it in some of Eazy's last songs, you know, on the NWA. You can hear Doc's writing.
Wow.
You know, he would write a lot of E's and Dre's words.
Wow, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he continued that. Well, I wanted to ask you this too, because on that Brothers for Life album, that Always Into Something kind of, for me, was like the way I look back at it was the blueprint for Nothing But a G Thing. Kind of reminds me of that style that Dre and Ren.
I guess it was kind of like the beginning.
Yeah, that kind of sounds. For me, those two songs are similar, you know.
Yeah.
What is your greatest fondest memory of Eric Eazy-E Wright?
I remember one day he called me. He said, "Come ride with me," and I didn't like to ride with him because he'd have you on adventures all day. I didn't like that. But he said he was going to buy a new car. I said, "All right, I'll go." You know. So we get in the car lot. This was when the Suzuki Sidekicks just came out.
Wow.
Which was the bigger one. Not the Samurai. It was the Sidekick. Okay. And he's in there and he turned to me, he said, "What, you want one?"
Wow.
And I'm like looking around like, yeah, I want one. You know what color you want? I want that green one. And we bought them right there. Right. We drove off the lot. Well, I'm like, that was just something different right there.
That was like
something like in a movie.
True brother right there. Did he throw the laces on there? Did he throw the wire wheels on there too?
Nah. We put some other, because it was 4x4 and all that.
Oh, okay.
So we put some other one. But we was one of the first ones that had like $5,000 sound systems in them.
Wow.
We was one of the first to have the 12-inch woofers in the back. Wow. In the box.
I remember
nobody had that.
Yeah. I remember those Suzuki.
We were the first ones in LA that had
hard hitting like that. Boom, boom.
Oh yeah.
The bass. Oh, yeah. Wow, man. You know what kind of trips me? I want to just bring this up was that I remember back in the days when as a young kid, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I heard like square dance rap, and then I remember Boys in the Hood was out at that time, and I could have swore that was Eazy-E on square dance rap.
Really?
Because the voice, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, but that was me as a kid, getting into hip hop and everything, man. But yeah, man, I remember back in the days, those Suzuki Samurais were hard hitting. I think they're coming back right now. You know what I'm saying? That style, that old style, man. With the mini trucks and everything too.
Yeah.
What about Eazy-E 63, that green 63? Did you ever
he had a white, he had a white, I don't know if it was a 6.4 or a Deuce. It was one of them. He had a white one too.
Wow.
Yeah, there was matter of fact, the wife still got the white one. She keeps it in storage.
Oh, nice.
You know, they started up, clean it, and it's still mint. I think it's a 6.4.
Wow.
Did you ever have a rag top?
Oh, nice. What's your favorite Impala gear?
You know something? I'm not a lowrider guy.
No?
I don't like lowriders.
Wow.
I mean, they look good and stuff, but I like new cars.
You like new cars and fast cars, huh?
Not fast, but just new cars.
New. All right.
The other ones that, I never was into the Impalas. Wow. Even though they look great.
Yeah.
The Deuce and the 4 is probably the best looking one.
Yeah, 62s, yeah.
until you go to the bombs, you know.
Yeah. Oh, close. Yeah. The bombs. Yeah. I have a '69 Chevy Impala, man. But my dream is
my brother had a '69 because it got the lights that go sideways.
Yeah.
'69. Yeah.
I have a '69 Chevy Impala Sports Coupe. My brother got a '70 Caprice, but my dream is to get a '63 like that green one, money green, Easy's, man. That's my hard top like that, man. You know?
Oh wow.
God led you to write your book. He's not done with you yet. It seems like you got a whole lot left to do.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about working with some Christian artists?
Music, I'm kind of done with music.
Yes.
I just, I even play the drums sometime in church.
Oh, nice.
I'll get on drums, play the drums.
Back to your filming. Your essence.
I do everything at church.
Oh, nice.
But my main goal, and I know it's going to happen, I'm going to be a preacher.
Oh.
That's where he's leading me to.
When you do that, man, invite me. I'll go over there with my family, brother.
Yeah, that's because I'm a deacon right now in the church.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Once I got saved, I don't play. This is the crazy part. I done had more fun being saved than all the heydays of NWA.
And you know what? Right now, with everything going on, that's what we need, brother. That's what we need. We need that positive vibe out there.
That's why I wrote this book. See, this is the hardcover, just came out.
Wow, I got to get that one, man.
Yeah, this is the hardcover. Only reason I wrote that book is not for the money. It's to show how good God is. He came and got a sinner like me. I was the worst sinner besides Judas. Nobody's worse than him. But he came and got me and saved me and led me to where he want me to go. It's just amazing. I mean, I went from being homeless. I was homeless 8 years ago.
Wow.
For 3.5 years. Not on the street homeless, but homeless 3.5 years.
Yes. And it's always those, dark times that kind of propel us to where we need to be, even though you had accomplished so much, but still,
Yeah, he had to clean all that old stuff. I had to start all new, brand new, a new way, a new look, a new walk. And I don't just talk the talk. I do the walk.
Yeah. And then, look, you wrote your book. I can't wait for you to write another book, No,
that's it.
That's it for you.
But he gave it to me to write it. I never wanted to write a book. Not at all. But that's how I can remember so much stuff in it. He gave it all to me to remember. I just went in order of my life. From 5 years old to 2020.
Wow.
And it just, everything that's in between. And NWA, the Wrecking Crew, Easy's funeral, the breakup, there's so much. And
I still got to finish it. I picked it up and then, man, with just that introduction that you did, I read 50 pages right off the bat right there.
You got 270 minutes.
I'm definitely going to finish it. I'm definitely going to finish it, my brother. But that's amazing. You got an amazing story and you don't know who you could touch and who you could help. That's why it's important for everybody, no matter what they go through, to tell their story because
everybody has a testimony
out there. Yes,
everybody has a testimony.
Yes,
we all came from sin, all of us, because we was born into sin.
Yeah,
it's not our fault. That's just the way it is. Yeah, we was born.
And if we were perfect, we wouldn't be here in this world. Yeah, right. Thank you so much, Mr. Yella. Where could we find you? Oh, one more question. If you could make a mixtape out of your life, what would be track number one?
Ooh.
Favorite song? Does it have to be hip hop? Does it have to be? Could be whatever you want. Your favorite song. Track number one.
It's so many songs. Wow. Had to be George Clinton stuff or Prince.
Yeah.
Any, you could just pick one. All that stuff.
Where could we find you at, and where could we get the book at?
The book is called Straight Outta Compton: My Untold Stories. It's on Barnes & Noble now, Amazon. Nice. And if a person wants autograph, it's at my website, djyellaofnwa.com. And then all my social media is DJ Yella of NWA, Facebook and Instagram.
You have any new projects coming out?
Just the book.
Okay.
Just working the book, book signings and all that stuff. Right now, that's my goal. And then wherever God leads me is what I do next.
And then we're inviting you back later on if you have anything else that
once you finish to read the book, call me.
Definitely, brother. Thank you so much for stopping by Duran Customz. We are saluting, we are honoring Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, member of the world's most dangerous group, Mr. DJ Yella. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you.
By. Thank you.
All right.
Peace, love, and light. Now I'm out of here. Peace.
Right.
See, I'm going to interrupt you, but I would just say, just be positive. You know, I mean, you are a product of your environment, so you are who you hang out with. You know, I mean, you want to be successful, you need to hang out with successful people. You know what I mean? You know, you hang out with me is that I got to see every aspect of every side of everything. You know what I mean? From the good, the bad, through everything. And what I did is I learned from other people's mistakes and learned not to make it, and I stuck with my goal and what I wanted to do, and learned not to make certain mistakes. And stick with my plan, my goal. You know, everybody has to have a goal, bro. You guys set goals, and you continue working through them. I guarantee you'll get to where you need to be at, man. Look, it took me this many years to get where I'm at, but I never gave up. You know what I mean? So you can't give up. You gotta believe in yourself. Research on what you want to set your goals up to, and eventually, man, you're gonna hit it and be successful.
Yes, definitely.
Great advice.
Where you know.
Okay, you can check us out on industrymusicgroup.com, where you can check out Mariah Avila, Rocky Padilla, Myron Glasper. We got my boy Ron Pryor, LSOB. You know what I mean? The list goes on. I got a new artist named Michaela coming out.
Wow. We got Quinones?
Joey Quinones is my brother right there too. Shout out one of the producers that produces for us. Tony G.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah,
you guys can check us out.
Dope
We got a lot of great stuff coming on. If I forgot you,
Duran Customz, interview numero 11. Today we are saluting, we are honoring Mr. Dalton Black, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. We're interviewing him for his love and his passion for country music. And at the end, we're going to be talking a little bit about professional wrestling, brother. How you doing out there, Mr. Dalton Black?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Doing good, brother. We recognize you out there in the heart of Nashville, the heart of country music. We see you putting in your work out there. Man, it's a beautiful thing, brother. I could see you at some point, you know, performing for voice or something like that, brother. You know, you got great music and a great passion that you're putting out there, brother. What was it?
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. What was it earlier on that propelled you and navigated you toward music, brother?
So what's wild is I didn't, you know, as a kid, there's a lot of people in Nashville who have been playing music their entire lives. And as a kid, I didn't. You know, I played sports and did other things. Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah. And so I took dance in middle school, like a competitive dance, like hip hop and stuff like that.
Wow. And
I loved performing like that. But most of my time was spent, you know, playing sports and doing other things. And what's crazy is I got a job. I wanted to, my career I thought was going to be on radio. So I went to school to do like mass communications, like radio. And I worked at a radio station. I worked at a radio station in East Tennessee. Wow. And I did the sports segments and stuff like that. And I was probably 19. I'm 26 now. I was 19 then, and I didn't really, you know, it wasn't fulfilling what I thought it would, if that makes sense. And, and I went to a pawn shop one day and I bought a guitar, and I just wanted to, you know, pick around on it at home and you know, just as a hobby kind of thing. And it quickly turned into something that I couldn't put down. And
so that's when you got bit by the bug, the music bug.
Yeah, I got bit, and I'm still, you know, feeling those effects of the bite. Yeah, for sure.
What was your favorite sport then at that point?
So I played basketball.
Wow, that's great. What's your favorite basketball team?
I love college basketball. I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, so I love the University of Tennessee.
Wow, man, awesome. So at what age did you think were you that you picked up that guitar and you started playing the guitar, brother?
Man,
what was it 19?
I was 19, and I started watching YouTube videos, and I had a friend who actually worked at the radio station. Wow. He showed me a couple chords, and I was like, man, I'm hooked. I never want to put this down, you know. Yeah. And I had probably played for less than a year the first time I ever got on a stage.
Wow.
And I played one of my original songs, and that's something that came more natural than anything.
The writing
songs.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. So at that point, from what are some of your favorites in, let's say, rock or in country, brother?
So in country, well, I think it's very fitting the shirt I have on.
Johnny Cash, brother.
Johnny Cash. I do have Johnny Cash's name on my knuckles. I don't know.
That's nice. What's your favorite Johnny Cash song?
Man,
there's so many.
There's just so many. There's so many.
Many years, brother.
Wow, that's a very good question. I know that's the question to ask a lot of artists and DJs, and it all comes down to, it's almost the same story if you pay close attention to a lot of other DJs and artists. Growing up in a house with records, I was always, my mom had a little stash of records, probably a cachet of, I want to say 50 old school 60s 70s vinyl, all Mexican music, cumbias and stuff like that, and I was always quite fond of just the way it looked and how she had it all. And every time we get close to that old turntable on top of the stereo with a big old console, the big wooden heavy ass console.
I know exactly what you're talking about, brother. Yeah,
everybody had one. Everybody had one in those times.
Had that turntable, everything.
It had that arm that would come and go and then slap the record right down.
Yes.
And I was like, ooh, how it slapped that record right on top of it, and then it dropped the record down. Wow. So I was always fascinated with that. That first caught my eye right there. And then like the music, not really at that first, because I didn't know that music. I didn't know what it was. I knew it was, Mexican music at the time. Yes. She showed me a record she had, was Pedrito Fernandez. An old, just he was a kid. I was like, okay, he's a kid making music, and I was putting two and two together.
Yeah.
And then but what really got me into like listening to like music, really listening to it was in the 80s, in the early 80s, a lot of the old school Planet Rock, of course. Buffalo Gals was the one that really hit me hard.
Wow.
Because of the scratching. Buffalo Gals.
Martin McFarlane, or what, right? Bro, that's in my constant rotation right now. I get my son onto that. Bro, was he actually doing the singing on that, the rapping? Or is he just doing the beat on that? Martin.
He produced all of it. I don't know who the DJ was for it. I'm not sure if it was him or somebody else. I didn't really looked into it, but
that's my go-to number one is that Buffalo Gals. I love
Buffalo Gals. It opened my eyes to hip hop and just to the hip hop world.
Yes.
And then to music.
To music in general, right? Because like you said, we got to be open to a plethora of music all across the board. Start
absolutely.
Off with the Spanish into everything else, rock and everything else, my brother.
It was just if you gotta crawl before you walk. So
yes,
it started with my mom's cachet of music, and then the record, and that just caught my eye, and then my ears was Buffalo Gals, and then what caught my eye to hip hop, to breakdancing, graffiti, and all that was one day in Baldwin Park, there was a big breakdancing battle going on 5 blocks over from where I used to live on Stewart.
Wow.
And my older brother, he was going there, but what I heard was there was 2 breakdancing crews, the Meridians and Showtime, and one of the guys that was in Showtime was Handyman. I don't know if you remember Handyman with the crutches. And he did the windmill on the movie Breaking.
With Kid Frost, and he's doing the video on there like that.
Yeah, remember the movie Breaking?
Yes.
When they're at the beach. And that's Handyman. He's from Baldwin Park, OG.
Oh, is he? I never knew that, brother.
Yeah, he was there. And I heard he was gonna be there. And I was like, you know what, I gotta go. I was only a kid, and I walked my ass, because it was in the same direction towards where I was walking to school.
Yes.
And so all I know is go to the end of this street, and there it is. So when I walked to the end of the street, full of parked cars, full of people walking around, I heard the music, it was bumping. By the time I got close to getting in there, cops had already came.
Wow. And he's aware that there's, younger generation out there that's looking up to him. So he's conscious and he's aware of that, man. And then the album is called KOD, man, and it's initialism of kids on drugs, which, dude, see, even with that, kids on with the fentanyl and everything coming in right now. Carlos Duran, thank you for taking the time to be here with Duran Customz interviews, my brother. We're gonna title these interviews the Zoom Boom Room or something. How's it going, my brother?
All right, good, man. Thank you. A pleasure for having me on, man. Much appreciated.
You're welcome and well deserved, my brother. And when I say my brother, I literally mean my brother, one half of Los Prophetic Poets, Mr. Chapter.
Yeah, Chapter.
I want to talk about your artistry back there, the penmanship. What was it that inspired you as a young kid to pick up the pencil to say, hey, this is something that I want to pursue and become, and follow your passion as an artist? Because as I could looking back with you, man, it's extensive and it's all across the board, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What was it? Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I try to just touch bases, like you said, going across the board, just on everything,
It's music, it's wrestling, it's Native American, and later on we'll get into other things that you tapped into, besides the penmanship and the canvas work. But what was it that sparked that fire inside you as a kid that made you say you wanted to pursue this, as a passion?
I think the farthest back that I can remember is being small is just I remember our older brother, just him doodling and drawing and messing around, with those sketchbooks and stuff. Yeah. So I remember, being little, probably like 5 or 4 years old, just running over there, and as he was laid out right there, just
just being an observer to that and witnessing that, right? I remember he used to draw like Batman and all that stuff, man. Like,
Batman, and just like a little kid, draw a dog,
So that built the excitement and the anticipation inside you to say, hey, this is the way I want to follow my passion.
There you go. When you just said that built the excitement right there. That lit the flame right there. And, I could just remember just going through the years, there's always been just family members that runs in the family, just always doing artwork and stuff. And I remember Emma's boys and stuff. When we lived in HP,
our aunt, right? Yeah,
our aunt, and him, and even our cousin, her sketching and all that, doing pencil work and everything, and just being excited and stuff, and even saving their artwork that they did, me getting and saving it, and you trying to replicate it and stuff. And for me, it was just amazing to see that from them creating, from nothing, so it was awesome.
Yes, and then the progression that you have taken it to, not just doing the pencil work and the drawing with pencil, but later on into canvas and other things. You want to share with us some of your first works that you have, my brother?
Yeah, some of my first work was that I have here still. That's how much passionate it's been for me is to save some of my first work from high school. When we went to the North Park, and one of the main persons there was the teacher of Nicholson. So, you know, he just telling me, you know, hey, you know what, draw this up, you know, but do it slow, you know, take your time, you know. So
testing your skill and building your skill at that time. If I could remember, I think I had you in that class, man, in that art class. I think you were a senior. I was a freshman or a sophomore, and I was going in there, and I had Nicholson in that class. And I could tell you one of the ones that stands out to me during that time was the. Okay. You're chilling with Duran Customz. We're right here with Gerald and Big Mike at Pit Smoke Barbecue on Maple Grove in Belinda, in the city of Belinda, man. You gotta stop by. This is the best barbecue in the SGV. Hands down, man. Lucy's ain't got shit on this, man. This is the best right here.
Take a look at the plates right here.
Take a look at the plates right here, man.
Money back guarantee. Ribs, chicken, sausage, baked beans, grilled corn. 3 meats in the beans. It's fire.
Baked beans, everything.
Pit Smoke Barbecue.
Pit Smoke Barbecue, man. You're chilling with Duran Customz, and we got Miss here in the casa, Mr. Kuda Bams. How you doing, man?
You already know what to do, you know. Shout out to my mama Penny Mora. Shout out to LPP boys though, because they got me started with, you know, rapping. They inspired me really to you know, rapping and you know, all that shit.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, definitely. So talk about your YouTube at, you know, what's your YouTube so we can find you and your music.
Or my Instagram is Mr. Kuda Too Greedy. You can find me there. I'm dropping a song today, as a matter of fact. So it's called Spaceship, Mr. Kuda Spaceship. So you can find me there. You feel me?
Yeah. How about the YouTube?
What about the YouTube?
Yeah, what's your YouTube? Days, man. Let's say as a kid that navigated you, that propelled you towards music. What was it around you in your surroundings, bro, that you know, you gravitated to that, brother?
Right. Well, back in those days, house music was the thing. You know, party music was the thing.
Yeah.
My brother Ems was the biggest inspiration there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man,
you know, we go to, like, you know, Exodus and World Records and any record store we could.
Wow.
Get all those old wax, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what you're talking about. You're talking about records, bro. You ain't talking about downloads and none of this shit right now, bro. You're talking about vinyl records itself.
Yeah, no, we used to suffer for our music, man. We used to have to carry wax, you know, go places early in the morning, you know, to collect wax.
Yeah,
wow, man.
Man. That's amazing, brother. That's amazing. What are also some of your early influence in DJing when we're talking about DJing in itself, brother? Whether it's DJ Aladdin, Egyptian Lover, DJ Raw Femme, or Tony G, brother. Who are some besides, of course, Ams, man? Yeah, brother.
Well, all of our homies were talented, man. I got, you know, matter of fact, where is my phone? Oh, you're on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, all our homies were inspirational, man. My boy Peep Show and his crew, you know, the Turntable Symphonic Orchestra.
Wow.
You know, like Mike Boogie XS and D Styles from the Pickles, you know.
Wow,
like they
brother.
got a big old thing going on right now, you know what I'm saying? And and just all of our homies, man. My boy Shotgun, you know, Goody Mob. You know what I'm saying? Like all of our homies, Gargamel, and just all of our local homies, La Rock, and everybody.
So you were surrounded by that, then, man. You were kind of influenced by your surroundings.
LA had one of the dopest battle circuits. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were in LA and you were competing, it's like you know, you had some talent to just kind of get into the Guitar Centers and the Sam Ashes and all that. You know, those DJs, you know, went on to battle like ITF and DMC, some of the biggest battles in the world, you know?
You took my next question right out of my mouth, bro. That's what I was going to tell you next. What was it like participating in those early Guitar Center battles there, brother? Because I've seen some of the videos that you've been putting up on your YouTube, man. Hey, dude, you guys were fucking it up way back then, brother. Putting it down, both of you. And then more or less that one that you showed, I don't know if it was at the Guitar Center, but it was you and it was you and Amsey. Questions you gotta, what I'm asking you, you gotta pick one, all right? NWA or Digital Underground?
NWA.
What's your favorite NWA song?
Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, okay. I take it that's your favorite album too, right?
Yeah.
You like something to dance to?
Yeah, it's a good song.
NWA or EPMD?
EPMD.
EPMD. All right. EPMD or Wu-Tang?
Wu-Tang.
NWA or Wu-Tang Clan?
NWA.
Cypress Hill or Wu-Tang?
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang over Cypress Hill? Damn. Cypress Hill or EPMD?
Cypress Hill.
Over EPMD?
Yes.
Damn. Okay. We said NWA. Okay. Eazy-E or Ice-T?
Easy.
Duran Customz interview numero 12. We're here with Angel Guerrero. He's back. How you doing, brother?
Good.
We're gonna be talking a little bit about psychedelic rock, right? The Seeds off of Crescendo. A little bit of the Nuggets compilation later on released on Elektra Syra, right? In 72.
Yeah. But we got later pressings of Nuggets.
Yeah.
We've also had another company called Sire.
Oh yeah, Sire, right?
They brought them out,
right? Well, we'll start off talking about the Seeds, and let me play a little bit of it before we jump right into it, brother. You know what I'm saying? You're chilling with Duran Customz. We're right here at the 6th Street Bridge, man. We took Whittier all the way down Loyal Heights, man, into Los Angeles. We parked, we walked down, man. It's quite a ways, but it's a great fucking walk, and it's a great little alley, man. You gotta come down here and check it out, man. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy yourself, man. Look at this, man. Look at how beautiful it is. It's almost like a map chart, dude.
It is,
lining up of the letters and everything, like, man, bro.
Let me explain. It's so much freedom that you have when you do graffiti. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love about it. It's just a lot of freedom. You don't have, there is no how can I say?
Rules.
There's no guidelines. There's no guidelines to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's rules and shit. I mean, there's rules and stuff like that, you know. But like when you're using your own imagination, there's nobody really to tell you no, that doesn't go that way, or no, that you can't bend it. Or no, you can't add that color to it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, man.
Like the next couple of days, like I said, right now I got time, so I'm doing I'm gonna do a Bruce Lee tribute shirt.
Wow.
You know I'll go get it right now. I'll get somebody to get it, and it's this design was done by one of my friends by Al Sandoval. You know what I'm saying? One of his designs. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I get with a lot of different artists and trying to bring the things to life. And it's great. I like I said, my thrill of it is seeing that whole overwhelming feeling that dude, it's
of it coming to life,
How did
right?
you do it? How did you do it? I'm saying that's beautiful. How did you do it? Like, no, bro, I didn't do it. I just recreated it. That's what it works. I'm saying. So that's how it really works.
You added your little touch to it.
Graffiti's free. You have freedom. There's so much freedom you have in it. There's nobody there to tell you no.
And how you were saying that the different colors, like with the comic books, that make everything pop with it, right? The warm colors, the light colors, the heavy colors, you know. Man, bro.
Like I said, I got a lot of artists like I fool around with and stuff like that, and they still, like I said, Al Sandoval's one. Eddie Duarte is another one you might know. Remember back in the days, I still got him. Then like a few others. You know what I'm saying,
wow.
A few others. I mean, I can keep naming them on, but it's like, you know, I ain't trying to like get their clout. Say it all.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we're here to shine light on the art, brother. We're here to shine light on the art.
To them as artists, I'm saying, because that's what it is. It's all about art. And like I said, 1 second. Let me grab this t-shirt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, brother. But it's amazing how you were talking about.
Did you get that Bruce Lee shirt from my closet? Yeah. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, it's amazing how you were talking about comic book art and everything. It reminds me of the album covers from back in the day.
In the 90s.
Bro, you got the KRS one, the Sex and Violence one. You got the Kid Frost, the East Side Story one. You got the Cam Never Again.
And if you look at it right now, bro, there's a lot of like collaborations going on with comic books and rap stars. Like right now, you got a Spider-Man cover with the Run DMC hat on and that Run DMC stance.
Wow.
Then you got the Hulk dressed up as I think it was I believe it was somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You got Beastie Boys as another Marvel character. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So whoever's doing those is collaborating. Oh, you got the Batman that's looking like oh man, there's a bunch of different ones. I just want to like show you.
You're chilling with Duran Customz. We're right here at One Look Vintage Apparel on 5th and Walnut in what is it? Newport or Wilmington Beach? We got picked up some great stuff, man. De La Soul, the Seeds, got MC Ren, got a little bit of the big timers. Come on in with us, man, and for the journey. Let's check it out, right?
It wasn't the first because he was taking that around town.
Yeah.
He was making money with that.
Yeah.
Did you slang on piss at him?
Well, this is what I heard. He got stabbed.
At one of those shows that he was doing that. Oh man, dude.
So I remember seeing that. And to me, like, I don't know, bro. Like him catching all that heat, and there was this one little old lady, kind of like. Dude, she kind of reminds me of, I'm not gonna lie, like your mom, but she had like this chicken, bro. She would always point the chicken at the bad guys, bro.
Wow.
And the bad guys always knew to go and get their heat with her.
Yeah.
They're going.
Wow. I wonder if she was part of the show, though, bro.
Was she part of the show?
No, I just think,
bro, as a fan, I look at you. Are they part of the show?
Nah, I just think they just loved wrestling.
Yeah.
Bro. I mean, you got to think about it, that the LaBelle family ran that territory for
18 and Grand, right?
18 and Grand, yes. It ran that territory for years. If you drive by the 10 freeway and you see that, it kind of brings you kind of like a weakness because you're like, damn.
Was that the one where we would go with
we used to sell at the swap meet across the street there, and we would take our masks.
Yes,
my dad would have us pass out candies, and one time El Hijo El Black Shadow was there, and he stopped and he took pictures with us, bro. And I guess that night, because my dad's friend that was a seller there or a promoter there at that Swami said, that night they lost the tag titles at the Olympic Auditorium. So I shared it on my Instagram and on my Facebook where it's the Black Shadow and me and Carlos were in the mask like that. We're all small.
Damn.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I got to see what's the name? They were doing some promotion at the Violent Swap Meet. Did you get to ever go see wrestling there?
No, I didn't, bro. How long ago was that?
Probably like 2005.
Oh, I never, bro.
I don't think
I would have known shit. I would have been there.
I don't think it lasted too long, dude.
Oh, wow.
But they did bring a couple like AAA wrestlers.
Okay. Do you know what promotion that was? Or?
You know what? I still have, it's funny you mentioned because I still have like the little flyer.
Wow. I like to keep all those local ones.
You should have had them back here, man.
Yeah. I had them on my wrestling one that I would do with my son on the just straight custom wrestling figures and stuff like that. In a toy review, I have them usually up there in the back. Hey, brother. So speaking of that, of Rowdy, today's album review that we're doing, Run DMC's Tougher Than Leather, 1988, May 17th release date. Their 4th studio album together. 4th. That was their 4th in 1988. Damn, they had released some classics, but for me, this one stands out to me in hip-hop history, my brothers and sisters. For me, this one, growing up, this was one of the albums for me, let's say in 5th, 6th grade, you know, in elementary school, leading up into junior high school. That was on constant rotation for me. Run DMC, even just with the plain cover, man, but those colors pop, man. That sky blue and just that black lettering right there, man. Run DMC. How many fucking groups? This guy wasn't even a group. He was on his own. He's been out since 82, 81, man, putting down fucking music. He's really an originator to this fucking dirty rap style. That sound, that Oakland funk, dude, pimpish funk style. But you know what's fucking crazy about it? This fucking album, man, I'm talking about Life Is Too Motherfucking Short, dude. He didn't really cuss too much on this album till president and also a menace to society. That's why I say, what is your favorite scene? What scene stands out to you in this particular movie? And